How you doing here? You're back right here on Debating Woes, episode number 18. I'm your host, Judge Dre. Yes, we started 2 minutes late, but we're gonna give the people a minute to get back over here from the last conversation because it seems like everybody's still in the last hangout. I'm gonna tell these people to get over here, otherwise you're not gonna have a spot. We had already talked about enough arguing and stuff there on what poverty caused. Now we're going to talk about solutions. So let me go ahead there and get the link in the description box. The link is there. So that way everybody can join. Now the last topic was very stressful and a lot of insults were called. Normally we don't do that here, so we're trying to work to bring new people along, and we're very open and try to give people a little bit of understanding to what we do over here. What we're going to do here now is we're going to just talk about what we can do to end poverty in the world. No cheap shots at laugh shows because we want to stay on the topic. So what are we going to do to end poverty and help it so that no one is suffering in the world? You have any ideas, Josh? Would you like to chime in on that?
Well, there are two things that we know from previous experience that defeat poverty. And that's the liberation of women and education.
Okay.
I don't really know for sure of anything else that works. Other things might work. But in the experimental areas of the world, it's the liberation of women and education. That's what ends poverty.
Okay. And here's the question: if they're already poor, how are we gonna give them education? Because most of the time they can't afford them. So what do we do with that?
Yeah, I think that's bullshit because the rest of the civilized world seems to have fucking let their population get educated for free, and they haven't descended into a communist hellhole.
What are you talking about? I thought the only reason why that people went to school is so that way we could sign up for all these classes, then drop them, and then get the credit back.
The rest of the civilized world managed to do it just fine. And you can't... Because here's the thing. Everybody said, well, we ain't got the money. The United States of America is the richest country that has ever existed on the face of the earth. If the United States of America doesn't have enough money doesn't exist. And seeing as the rest of the world seems to be doing it just fine, that's bullshit.
I'm gonna call bullshit on your shit, Josh. Women should be fucking barefoot and pregnant. Fuck that.
I know. Fucking women, barefoot and pregnant is what we need.
Yep.
If we
Especially those white women.
If we just got rid of all the fucking women and all the fucking white people, everything in the world would be fine.
We can't get rid of all the women. Can't do that.
No, we don't have to get rid of them. We just gotta lock them up like back in the 20s. Lock the women up like back in the 20s, get rid of all the white people, and the world will be a utopia.
Yeah, okay, whatever.
You have to go to work.
No, you're gonna fucking work. You just give me all your stuff.
If we get rid of all the women, then whose toes are we gonna lick whipped cream off?
Jesus Christ, man!
You have to ask Chris that one, man.
Right, that's why.
Simping on you, simping on me, baby, baby.
Yes, it would be Chris toes.
Terrible.
Tony and Chris be licking toes.
Hey, I'm gonna state my piece and I'm gonna roll out. I gotta get some sleep.
You don't need no sleep.
Oh man, I need some sleep, bro. My eyes are all black underneath.
Your eyes are always black.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
You're pro-black. Your eyes should be black.
Yeah, I am pro-black and I'm pro-white. I'm more pro-white than I am pro-black. So.
I hate to say I'm not pro-black.
Breathing out a white man's air.
Right.
That's right,
pro-black, I hate to say I don't like that. I don't like pro-black just as much as I don't like Black Lives Matter. You already see. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, pretty much my personal opinion to end poverty is to A, quit having kids out of fucking wedlock. Stop the cycle, the poverty cycle that's going. And to B would be just to work hard, bust your ass, save your money, and quit trying to keep up with the Joneses.
I agree.
I mean,
not save your money, but also invest your money into things that appreciate in value, not depreciate.
Thank you.
Okay, here's the question: How are we going to show them how to invest their money? Because most people don't even have a checking account.
I have a.
I mean, think about it. They're poor already. They don't.
Huh?
Oh,
Can you
he
hear me?
froze up.
Oh.
Well, to
I
answer
have.
Andre's question,
Yeah.
my opinion is to show them by teaching them how to. First of all, I think the thing that keeps people in poverty right now the most is unplanned kids.
Yeah.
You know, that's a major bummer right now is unplanned kids. You stop having kids, and that's more money you keep in your pocket. You're not spending on a bunch of rugrats.
Yeah, that's part of the liberation of women.
Well,
Fuck
she
women.
start that simping shit.
I know, Josh.
It's not simple.
You know, you guys need to really take a look at.
Women have control of their own reproductive systems.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
You
They
Fuck that
have
guys,
white
some
knight shit, Josh.
education. And they have
I
some
encourage
education. They don't have all those
everybody.
kids. That's why they go hand in hand.
Look at Horatio Alger and read his books. All his books about come ups. Look it up, niggas. We need to stop blaming everybody else and start taking fucking responsibility and accountability for our own actions.
Yes, I agree,
Let's
KP.
stop blaming every fucking body else and stop blaming shit that happened 400 fucking years ago. But no, we can't blame that today. But no, we can. Stop using that bullshit as excuses.
I think that the whole history thing, I mean, of course, we need to learn our history. We need to learn what happened so we don't repeat the same mistakes. But black folks at this point aren't in any way, shape, or form in a position to be learning that history. First, we got to take responsibility for ourselves, like you said, KP. Get ourselves back in the right seat, in a good position, and then you introduce the history once black people are in that good position. But right now, that all that history is doing is causing black folks to make excuses.
All right, I'm back. I don't know what the hell. My computer is really acting up today. I guess it doesn't like that new webcam.
Isn't your electrical still off? Like, didn't the storm ruin
Not
the electrical in your house, or no?
No, just part of it. We've already got that, but we lost a lot of electronics, got damaged, and all like that. So, like, lost the freezer, lost the laptop, lost the stuff on my son's Xbox.
That's rough.
Damn
Sorry.
Xbox.
That came from the storm?
Remember, I told you the transformer got struck on our street.
Did you blame that white guy for that shit?
Yeah, I did. But then they told me that what happened is the electricity was white, and it wasn't that part. It was the darkness.
It's like blue. It's not even white.
No, it was the darkness that followed the white. The white. So that's what had happened. So everything was fine when the white was there, but as soon as the white disappeared, then it was the darkness that came there. So it was the black.
Its creator was white, so.
Now, as far as the guys who hang out downtown yelling at white people and Asian people, what are they called? The black Israelites? Jesus is black. So that was Jesus' fault. Jesus was messing with you, Dre.
Oh, I'm just letting you know. I sit there and laugh because one of the things is, like, especially with that last conversation, it's, I know he might have offended a lot of you, but I'll say this. It's different to hear a different point of view, and that's why, to me, you may have not liked it, but I felt it was needy, too. That lets you know that there's other people with opinions like that. He's not the only one that got an opinion like that.
Oh, yeah, I know.
I appreciate that shit.
Yeah, I thought it was a great show, and I have no problem with him saying goodbye to everyone, all the black people, or calling me a white lady, or I don't know, whatever he was saying. That shit does not bother me at all. I know who I am.
Like this, I look at it, let's say like this, is just like when I look at that, I mean, for every yin, there's a yang. And I always sit there and laugh because we always talked about white people for just being completely against black people. But then that shows that there are black people out there that are completely against white people.
Yes,
Brother,
it,
no,
That's why we're never gonna get anywhere in the world.
And
right.
that's why we should all do what
Agreed.
George said, and we should all just kill
Agreed,
ourselves
Josh.
and
They
make room
want
for the broccoli.
here's the problem, and
We should all
I'll be
we should all get whipped cream and feet.
Oh my
here's
God, you and
here's
Christopher on the feeding.
here's the problem. Here's the problem, and I've been saying it for a couple of days now. I think one of the worst thing that happened between blacks and whites, and it happened in reverse actually, was this interface between the colonizers who came and these, what do you call them, 21st century pro-blacks. But just the different, the two groups of people who met at the initial stage, they were not at their polar ends, if you understand what I mean. And I'll explain even more. When Europeans met blacks, they just grouped us up into this binary, this or that. Black people adapted that way of thinking. You
Hey,
see it
Josh,
now with these pro-blacks where they just believe that you can't have a black man that don't believe in God. You can't have a black man that don't laud the black woman. You can't have a black man who don't want to be a thug. They just believe that black life is supposed to be this or it can't be that. And that's the problem. And these are the ignorant people also. They may have a little, whatever you want to discredit, but they have it in terms of their environment. They have that kind of environmental charisma that the idiots that are around these people will gravitate to people like these who speak these just these stupid, illogical arguments, or these angry vitriol against a person just because of their ethnicity. You know,
right.
I
Josh, do me a favor. I need you to. Can you keep an eye out for me? I got controls in the room for you. Give me
Yes,
about
sir.
5 minutes. I gotta help her. She's having a moment.
so you know someone like me was viewed as a Uncle Tom because I never dated black woman, or I don't like black women. I remember when my aunt used to say to me, "My nephew, when are you gonna bring like a woman, one of us, to Thanksgiving dinner or Christmas dinner?" Because according to them, Mr. United Nation always brings home someone from a different country or from a different race. You know,
So,
we can't have these idiots running around not be. I don't say to shun them, like Matt Black was saying to completely get rid of them. I told him I don't agree with that. I think it's gonna take. It depends on how far gone they are. But someone like that probably gonna take maybe 3, 4, 5 years drubbing of logic before he kind of like parse out his ardent views on just blaming everything on white people. You know, maybe he needs to travel also. Maybe he needs to come to Europe, to Sweden, to France, and to see that when you talk about even about Americans being racist or white Americans being racist, I don't buy it. I'm not talking about the KKKs. I'm talking about average white American is not racist. And there's nothing wrong for someone to have a prejudice. If I see niggers and niggers always beating up each other, guess what happens? This is why I'm tired of being a nigger. Because every time I show up to somewhere where there's white people, I have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that I am not the nigger that they have in their perception of what they've seen. There's nothing wrong with that. That's
Well,
what that's what constructs the circumference of prejudice. It's what you've seen. Now when you hear a person
that's
just
only
say,
because you're kissing a white man's ass, Chris.
"Yeah, I know, I lick white folks' ass crack clean." I know.
We're
but
gonna
one
have
thing,
that talk too.
have you noticed this? This one thing that I've noticed too. Racism still exists, and that goes for all of us. You know, black, white, you know, religion against religion, all that. But I will say it has diminished a lot. There's still a lot of them out there, but it has diminished a lot. And I've noticed that, especially with the younger generation, the younger generation seems to look less at skin color than, say, during when we were younger.
Actually, research said the opposite.
You think so?
Andre.
I think,
Yeah.
in my
Re,
experience, I think there would
re,
be less.
research says millennials will brag that they're not racist, but their practice, they're actually more balkanized. They're
Well,
very much.
but when I think of racism, I think of more, you know what, I'm not going to speak to you because, you know, those type of people. You know, there are some people, that's what, unless you're like one of those ones who never interact with a black or a white person because you're that their skin color, Those are the people I think are the real racists. The other people, they just have racist tendencies.
Okay, I hear what you're saying.
You know what I mean? I think that
Mm.
they've been taught racist tendencies where, you know what, I ain't speaking to Josh because, you know, he plays the guitar, and everybody who plays that type of guitar, they're all hippies or whatever. You know what I mean? It's like, to
What's
me,
wrong with my
it's
Gibson?
taught.
Those are nice, Josh.
Jesus Christ.
You said what?
So what's wrong with my Gibson?
Oh,
Come on, man.
oh wow.
I don't like it because the neck is probably black.
And the neck is black.
Should have been
No,
white.
No, I don't like it because the strings are colored and a white man's pulling them.
It needs to be restrained. There aren't any strings on it right now.
White man, the white folks are squeezing the fucking frets too hard.
I mean,
I'm messing with you, Josh.
racism is just an offshoot of tribalism.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know how we get rid of tribalism. I think tribalism is genetic. I think we just have that in us. We have that old monkey DNA in us, where we have our own little tribe, and anybody who's not in the tribe is an enemy. I think that shit's hard coded.
I think.
I mean, we can overcome it, obviously, because, you know, we can overcome anything. Like women don't understand men. Like, good. How many times have you wanted to kill somebody, Tony? And not wanted to kill somebody like, oh, I'm going to kill that person. But you literally wanted to kill them. And the only reason you didn't is because there was a law against it.
This is live, right?
Yeah.
she's not going to tell me.
I might not answer that right now.
This happens to men on a damn near daily basis.
Okay, we should ask the appropriate question. Tony, are you a divorcee?
No, but I was in a long-term relationship.
All right, so you just answered the question for you.
I mean, that's what I'm saying is that's in our testosterone. We didn't have that, and we've overcome it, mostly.
Don't self-incriminate.
But that same hard coding is hard coded in us for tribalism. I have to do a lot of work to get past it. I think everybody has it naturally. You know, you can go into like any school. You can go into a school and be like, oh, this is the most integrated school I've ever seen. But going to that school during the lunchtime, everybody's segregated. Nobody made them be segregated. We just do it automatically. Because there's some fucked up thing in us that makes us be that way.
That is.
Well, see, I don't know if that's true. Tribalism isn't about oppression. Racism is. The Zulus and the Tutsi, you know, it's okay to want to be around those that you're familiar with. You know, but tribalism and racism are two totally different animals.
But didn't they
they're
murder each
obviously
other?
different. They're different things. I'm saying the broader term is tribalism.
Well, what I'm saying is tribalism and racism are two different species. So that not just, in the fruit family. I'm saying one is a car and one is a parasite. So
you think so? Expand on that. Expand on that.
Because tribalism isn't about the complete oppression of another group, generation after generation after generation. So it's not about exploitation. Tribalism is, I am this, I designate myself as them, we are this, and you are that. Racism is totally different.
They kind of sound like the same thing, though. Like,
well,
if you're just writing it down, they sound like they're just writing the same thing.
Listen, I just told you one is about oppression, deliberate, intentional oppression of another group. That's racism. Tribalism is saying, I'm this, you're that.
Yes, but once you go out and go conquer another area,
no, what I'm saying
becomes your tribe, right?
What I'm saying is it fosters the tribalism, fosters the us and them mentality. It's not a we mentality, and when you get an us and them mentality, I wouldn't say always, because you never know always, but it seems like throughout history, on every piece of land on this planet, when it starts becoming us and them, at some point, the us decides we're going to take from them. Like there are no peaceful societies on Earth throughout history. We've always been killing each other.
Here's one commonality between tribalism and racism. there's an ethnic component. The homogeneity of a ethnic group versus the other.
Listen. What I'm saying is because you can have all of these things and not have oppression. That's the difference. So once you take away oppression, then racism is its own thing. So if we're going to talk about, yes, both require human beings. That's a totally different thing. But oppression is racism's calling card.
So you're saying that tribalism has absolutely no content of oppression? Because for one tribal to be dominant, it has to be somewhere where it pushes the other or the minority tribe to the margins of that society.
There was
But
no
listen,
such, there was no such thing as that back in Kemet.
But this is what I'm saying is that what we're experiencing now is the first of its kind. There's no such thing like this type of racism, deliberate oppression throughout history. This is a new phenomenon. So we can't compare it to what's going on with the Fulani and and the
No,
those.
that's not factual. That's not factual,
No,
bro.
no,
That's not
yes, it
factual.
is.
If you want to say
Yes,
about
it is.
racism,
No, it's not. Here's what I'm going to explain to you where it's not.
Chris,
You're
can I
saying
give, let me just give a quick hit at it. There's no such thing as racism that you will never have the Mongolians slaughtering fucking Chinese.
Listen, what I'm talking about, racism has components that you must check these boxes to be classified. So coming through slaughtering somebody is not racism because
It
there's
took over the known world at the time.
okay.
It'd be
So
no different than what you're trying to say that white people are doing to blacks in America.
well, I tell you what, there is no money still being spent from the Mongolian expansion. So that's the big difference.
Whose fault is that?
What do you mean? Whose fault is that?
Yeah.
I'm saying that money that was used to, because you guys are saying this, making these historical fallacies, not me. So what I'm saying
Not a
is
fallacy, sir.
No, I'm not
it
making.
is.
I've never made any.
There's
Because I've
still a
made no
Great Wall of
historical
China still
argument.
standing right now.
Okay, well, tell me the industry that exists from its construction to this day, because that's
Why do you think China's independent?
okay, right. You don't know what the hell you're talking about. And what I'm talking about right now is that
You can't even refute it.
there's still money being spent from slavery. Institutions that started from slavery still exist. So that's the difference. The money's still circulating. So the money that was used to strangle a race is still in circulation. That's not true for any other event in history.
It was, bro.
That's a perfect
Stop.
thing to do for
Stop blaming white people for conquering blacks. If that's
Hold on,
the grievance, if that's the historical grievance that I'm hearing in your argument,
You should be mad with your Moors, if anyone.
It's not an economic grievance, man.
Hey, listen, I don't know who you are, my man, but you're going to sit here and justify what they did to the globe just because for what reason?
All right, this is what I'm going to say to you, because blacks like to do that. You don't know who I am. I don't have to be anybody, as a matter of fact. But what I'm saying to you is that hearing you speak is, and I won't say dangerous, it's just, it's gridlock. You are your logics and your arguments are what continues to let blacks be gripped in this gridlock of impasse. Where fuck slavery. The best thing that you Americans can do is to forget about slavery. You know what argument would seem more up to date? If you argued about Jim Crow and the economic problems or the economic hindrance that occurred with Jim Crow policies, not slavery.
Hey, something's wrong with you, man. Something's wrong with
me?
Something's wrong with you.
Wait a minute, guys. We're getting off our topic.
There's nothing wrong with me. It's just that.
Something's wrong with you.
Chris.
Diagnose what's wrong with me.
Wait a minute.
Because what you want to do is you want to talk about the kids, don't talk about the parents, and you can't talk about Jim Crow without talking about slavery. So something's wrong with you.
All right, but listen, we're not going back on that road. We went that on the other show.
No,
that's true. And remember, black grandparents, you can't go back that far.
Right. We talked about
with your own shit.
Listen, what are we gonna do?
You see, but let me say something. You see how blacks are? I gave you a vantage point where you could tear down all these groups or these companies that you talk about, the like American institutions. What's an example? Yale, Brown. You can use those arguments from Jim Crow and make valid arguments, but instead you want to go back to slavery.
No,
Slavery.
you're cherry picking history because something's
No, I'm
wrong with
not
you.
cherry picking history, and this is also a problem that you guys have. You think that history occur, or you can analyze history just on this single line gradient, and you're wrong. This is why we keep falling back. This is why blacks have not progressed in supposedly the most freest times that men have established now in 21st century. That's the problem, because we keep on looking at history from this gradient straight line.
You know
Pick
what?
the stuff that you can work with. The stuff that's at your disadvantage, you're going to have to just leave it, but acknowledge its weakness and move on.
We're going to acknowledge what we're going to do to end poverty now, to reduce poverty. And we're going to, that's what we're working on now. We've had our little racism and our slavery talk already. Now we're going to the flip side. What are we going to do to stop it?
Well, we got to maintain the black family, and that means no interracial interactions.
Huh?
Jesus Christ.
He's
I was
not the
going to
only
agree with
person
you
to
until
say
you say
something
that.
like that.
I was going to agree
He's
with
not
you
the only
until you say
people.
that.
Let me tell you
Black
why.
family, the black family doesn't have to be a color.
Well, see, when you say things like that, you make black people obsolete. If there's no vantage points
Black
between,
people been obsolete, bro.
okay,
Hey,
okay.
I'm gonna say.
Let me say
I got a
this.
quick question.
Okay, hold on. Sorry, let me say something, KP. Hasidic Jews want their children to marry Hasidic Jews. There's nothing wrong with that. Every culture has that same thing. There's nothing, I mean, a lot of the things he says I don't agree with, but that's not an outlandish thing to say. Everybody has that prejudice in their family.
I don't
Even
know.
if you have a mix. I mean,
I like them Latina girls. I'm just saying.
Guess what
I
happened?
can't talk now.
I'm gonna make some coffee. Y'all crazy.
But that wasn't an outlandish thing to say. That's something every group of people say about their religion, their race, their culture. I lived in an Armenian community. The Armenians only want to marry Armenians. If they marry outside of their Armenians, they don't get to be around their family. That's not a crazy thing to say. I mean, maybe we don't all agree with it because we all come from blended families of mixed race, mixed cultures. But that's not the craziest thing I've ever heard someone say. It's just not.
Right.
Now you just Black Rampage. You was on the show last, right along with Damien on some topics, correct?
Right.
That brother is biracial. So pretty much what you should say, fuck him because he's not fully quote unquote black, whatever the hell that is.
Okay, whatever the hell that is. See, this is what I'm saying, KP. Again, you and the other guy.
What
you guys,
is fully black? If you want to be so you want to be so anti-mixing whatever you are, because I can't say what you are because you don't even know what you are.
okay, just ask me. Just ask me then. Just ask me. What are you? And I'll give you my position.
Trace
Just
your
ask
lineage.
me.
What's your lineage?
No. Ask me what my position is.
What's your lineage?
Well, I don't know it because of white people.
Okay, so how can
Partially.
you sit here and say nobody else?
Partially.
Listen. What I'm saying is that there has to be. Black people have to have a racial self-respect. So there's no reason that someone from a mixed union can have equal membership to the result of a full-blooded union. So what I'm saying is.
Okay, so you should have been checking your boy that you was agreeing with and so down for the cause with, who openly stated that he was half black and half white by American culture.
But see, KP, if you would let me finish, I would tell you how I would designate mixed. But you won't do that because of your setback. My point is that
Black press, no insults.
No, go ahead. That's fine.
a setback is an insult. I mean, Jesus Christ, man.
No, I'm stopping.
What is this? A Catholic school?
No, I'm just stopping you before you throw one out.
Well, hey, that's preemptive.
I don't get.
The precursor.
Okay,
I
fair,
don't get
fair,
offended by barbaric people. I don't.
fair enough. Listen, my point is that the Damien guy, who is that? You talking about that guy, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, the Damien guy. My thing is for mulattoes is that if they themselves designate themselves as black and act in a pro-black manner and don't use colorism or any type of other instruments of white supremacy against the black collective, then sure, they should have a seat at the table. But as far as just coming out and then telling people you're mixed and want to use colorism at your advantage, then you're okay with racism as long as it benefits you. And so I'm saying that the black family has to be preserved. The Chris
Okay.
guy, he
Did you
says
did you did you say anything against Jesse Williams then?
he designates himself as a black person. He works in the best interest of black people.
But here's
There you go. Then you're totally contradicting what you're saying.
No, I'm not contradicting. I just gave you. Listen, KP, something's truly there's something wrong with you, man. I didn't
You
say
want
that.
to accept them when they only for your cause. If they not down for your cause, then they not part of you.
Correct.
Okay, here's
That
the
is
question.
bullshit.
So basically, you only accept like-minded people.
Yeah,
Well,
but they're gonna have different pigmentation. So how do you square that?
Right.
but this is what I'm saying.
That's my
And
point.
once
It's
you
bullshit.
no. You see again, KP, man. Listen, you need to have a drink. God damn it. The fact of the matter is that I'm saying that they're of a different hue. They have to recognize that colorism is something that affects black people. It's something that they can't promote. So that's all
Here's
I'm saying.
here's
So
how
they
this would be.
they only down with you.
They
They only
can't.
down with your thought process if
They
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 agree with you. If
they
they
can't.
disagree with you, then they on the other side.
They cannot promote, they cannot be the ideal, they cannot represent the black collective. So that means that there will be no rolling them out in front as if they represent the black whole. That's what I'm saying. We have to have a hierarchy. Most black is most beautiful, and everything in that tree that falls under those it will be accepted, just like blonde and blue is the most beautiful, and everything under that, the redheads, the brunettes, the whatever, they fall under that tree. We have to set up our own hierarchy that we establish, that we recognize.
It don't make any sense.
You hear the
Right.
word that you used though. You said
Hey,
hierarchy.
Chris,
Hierarchy is not
here's the
something that's
question, Chris.
equal.
Here's the
You're
perfect
playing your own argument.
And it shouldn't be. Listen, hierarchy only establishes order. So this equality stuff. I'm saying that Wesley Snipes is greater than Jesse Williams, and that's who should represent the black
So
collective.
you're racist against light-skinned white people.
Hey, listen, you don't.
Thank you, Tony.
No. That's not
Only
racist.
when it does not benefit them.
No. I said mulatto. I didn't say light skin. I said mulattoes. That's what we're talking about. But because she gets to throw in whatever she wants, nobody gets to
But
check her
that's
because
what
she
you
got
do you-
said.
do-
That's
I
do
what
you
said
know-
you
mulatto.
said. You just said
I said
Dark
mulatto.
skinned mulatto you ever known.
dark
Matter
skin
of fact, name
Wesley
five
Snipes
dark skinned mulattoes.
is
Name five.
better
I
than
said
light-skinned Jesse Williams. That's what you
no.
just said.
I said full-blooded Wesley is greater than half-breed Jesse. Jesse can't represent the black collective because that doesn't do anything but promote
So why didn't you
colorism.
stand up and say, hey, shut the fuck up then? Why didn't you stand up and say, hey, Jesse, you can't stand up here and talk this shit?
How do you know I didn't? Shut the fuck up, man. You just sitting here. You
Because
don't
you
even
just
know.
said you were on Jesse's side.
What was
No,
the solution?
That Jesse
What was the
was in
solution
your
again?
cause.
That the black family should exclude anything
So,
of color.
I'm sorry. So
Any
basically
mixing.
what he's
So if
saying
you
is
trace your lineage,
Christopher,
wait a minute, hold on, Tony.
right,
If you
yeah,
trace your lineage, you already say you don't know what you are then, right?
Mhm.
that
know-
means
I-
You
Christopher
should tell
should
yourself the
have.
same thing. You should tell yourself the same thing. Shut the fuck up.
Right, because
You
Okay.
don't even know you 100%. You don't even know you 100%
Let's not
quote
go off
unquote
into.
African.
Yeah,
Shut the fuck up.
Wait, Chris, here's a question. So technically, say like me and Tony had a baby. Now the baby come out then,
Barf.
come out her complexion, right? And all like this. But the
Pretty
baby,
face.
because I'm the father, but the baby sides with an issue that you believe that we should be fighting for. That person should be considered black.
Okay, what I'm saying is, first of all, that's disgusting. Race mixing.
Oh my.
Second is that child, because of you, has to demonstrate that it is black-minded, that it considers itself black and is for the black cause, and that it recognizes its position in this world. It's not mixed. It's not a half breed. It recognizes itself as black and
Black
fights for the black
Rampage,
cause.
you, by your own logic, whenever
Oh,
you say something's wrong with Christopher from Jamaica,
No, I'm
he,
Swedish.
he's Swedish now, but Christopher is the darkest person on the panel. You should accept his hierarchy because he
no,
is darker than you.
no.
You should
This is
not
I'm
tell him
talking about.
something's wrong with him. You should
No, no.
accept his logic
See,
Tony,
this is what I'm
Tony,
saying.
no, wait a minute. Tony, Tony,
and
I
his
Okay,
got
hierarchy.
I got disagree with you on that, Tony.
Hold on, KP. Hold on, KP, because you're about to say something more ridiculousness. What I'm saying to you, ma'am, benefactor of white supremacy, I'm saying that I never said that just because you're dark skinned makes you the ruler of black people. I'm saying that under the hierarchy of black self-respect, Chris, who has demonstrated that he is not that he's not for his people completely, he would not be he would enjoy the benefits of the black collective. In
I'm
I'm a,
gonna hereby refer to you whenever I say anything to you. I will call you the black racist man
I'm
who
against
should
niggers.
submit
So
to
so
Christopher.
there are
Tony,
Because
more
you gotta
you
there are more
understand that
appreciate
you're
niggers.
wrong. Remember, you're white, you're wrong. Fuck that shit.
There are more niggers
She's Latino.
and the
My
nigger
freckles are
mentality. So I'm
correct.
against
Uh,
niggers. Yeah.
Goddamn,
And
you're Brazilian,
and
right?
And I'm Brazilian.
Yes. You gotta remember, you're wrong because you're not
I'm not even
quote unquote
American.
black. Whatever
I
the
can
fuck that
even be
is.
here.
You're not
and I
You're
even.
just
I
wrong.
can
I'm
So you
not
I,
just
I
even.
let me
you
give you a
can't argue with
solution.
an idiot.
Let me give you a solution about poverty.
Oh, name calling. I need to him to
When
Oh,
throw the
He
people
does
don't.
a
flag.
lot there sometimes.
Hey,
though,
people don't
KP,
call
we're
people
going to
shit.
talk to him. 'Cause
Accept Christopher's authority.
no, this is what I'm going to say to him. You're right. You don't even know where you come from, bro. Because you yourself said it. So I'm a nigger. I have more direct line back to Africa because my descendants came from slaves from the Caribbean. So I'm telling you as a black man
So
because I can see you're
wait.
lighter
Because
complexion than me. No.
I'm the
You
same
shut
color as
up.
Tupac.
Listen, no, you're not. You're not as dark as me. So now you want to talk pro-black. Let's listen. Let's talk pro-black from a real black man. If you want the black family to look like niggas that look like me, you want black woman popping out niggas that look like me. Skin you, because that's what you're doing. Bureaucracy. Let's call it bureaucracy. Dude, what you're saying, and I'm telling you from being more strategic as a black man and the one who's been beleaguered, you would have to want to listen to my strategy on how to fight white racism and not yours because you're not as dark as I am. You're using that uology hierarchy, so I'm going to use it on you.
Well, no, I'm
So,
not.
You got
Jesus
a good point
Christ.
there. He got you.
Jesus Christ. You're not using skin you. You're
I was
not using
saying
skin you.
listen, I'm talking about setting up a racial hierarchy for ourselves. So what's considered like Europeans have a standard of beauty, black people should have a standard of beauty. I didn't say dark skin made you the smartest or the strongest or the leader. I'm saying that it represents the standard of beauty. But you want to go to Uranism and all other things because your boat landed in Jamaica and my boat landed in Detroit, that it doesn't make you any blacker than me. As a matter of fact, you have a very white way of seeing things and living. So you would be
I know you
you
were
would
going to
be
say that. I
you
know
are
you're going to say that.
disqualified. You were
Well, you know what?
disqualified from black conversations
I'm disqualified from black conversation. And how can you go about doing that?
because you
Right.
don't really
How
care.
can you go about doing that? Because black, you know what it is? Black, ignorant American motherfuckers like you are
Man,
the
shut with the
ones.
motherfuckers.
No, you call me a nigger.
No, I
So
didn't. No,
what
I
did you
didn't.
say?
You're a
You just,
lunatic. You're
I'm
a
a
lunatic.
lunatic. I'm a lunatic. It's black Americans like you who have made it bad for black people in America.
Not racism, not racism, but my reaction to racism.
Fuck
You,
racism. If you're
man,
smart, you can easily out navigate racism. You should know
man,
that by now.
how do you
Ask
out
a black man who
navigate
have a white
racism
woman.
when you
He's the smartest racial strategist there is. Ask any black man who has a white woman.
so sexual access equals revolution?
We're not talking about sex. We're talking about playing the game. Being when America befriends a communist country, what is it doing? A democracy betray being friend with an authoritarian country. What is he doing? He's
Hey,
playing diplomacy. He's
you're
playing
making a false
diplomacy.
equivalency because America has power and that other country represents a power. Black people are powerless with the
What
powerful.
about the communist country that don't have the same power but decides to friend America to strengthen its little semblance of power? You like to tell me
That's
I'm looking at it from a white perspective. You're only looking at it from a black perspective, and that's why you can't move on because you're locked into one way of thinking, one methodology, one ontological, one epistemological way of looking at how things come into existence or
right,
how
right.
things are, and that's your
Solving
problem.
you're solving racism with your genitals, and I'm saying that
Yeah,
you're
like
full of horse
Paul,
shit.
shut your. You know what? Paul Mooney said it. He said, "You want to get rid of racism? Start fucking more white women."
Right. So since when does a
Did you
comedian
curse?
become
Did you
become a
call Paul
genius?
Mooney? Did you call Paul Mooney a coon? He
Because
said it.
I'm not an idiot like you. I don't follow comics. So you took what a comedian said as law because you're slow.
You put
Because
Wesley
I'm
Snipes
slow.
at the hierarchy of
Negro,
black
shut your
people.
mouth, slow.
I gave it an example.
You're hurling
He's giving
insults
you an
like you're an
example
idiot.
during
No,
this
he's
You're
not.
conversation.
hurling insults like you're
No,
an
he's not.
idiot.
You
Hey,
You're
called
a
me.
fool, man.
You
I
called me.
see.
You called me a nigger.
This is why when Jamaicans came to America, Black Americans could have furthered because you have no work ethics. You
Oh,
have no work
yeah,
ethic.
right.
You have no work ethics.
Because Jamaicans
You
are
have,
in America because of
you have,
their own free will. You
you have,
motherfuckers are
you have
able to
no work
travel
Oh,
ethic.
because of the Black American struggle. Civil
You have
rights is the
no
reason
work
why you were
ethic.
over there.
You have no work ethic, nigga. You
Right.
stuck in one place. You've never traveled the world.
This is
Right.
going well.
Jamaicans are poor, and we picked ourselves up and
So
came
much,
to America.
so much work ethic. You shoeless
Came to
machete having
America.
motherfuckers
Hey,
are sitting
hey,
here,
hey, okay,
on an
guys,
island without any
guys,
power.
wait a minute.
Ain't no
Chris,
white people in them slums. Ain't no white
Chris,
people in them
Chris,
slums,
all
motherfucker.
right.
oh no.
Look,
You
both
just
of
want
you,
to hurl insults because that's
wait a minute, both of you guys. I had to mute both of you guys. Look, we're going away from the topic, guys. We're not here to fight each other. We've had the fight already for the night. Now we're talking solutions.
Oh no.
Solutions. No, we're not here to fight. I mean, I understand you guys. Listen, you're both muted. You're not. We're not here to fight. Can we talk about the solutions, guys? Please
I love you, Christopher.
talk about the solutions, guys, because this is the problem too. One of the problems is this: is we get caught up, and then we start to name call, and then that takes away from where we're going. You know,
Well, see, here's the thing, man. What I don't like is foreigner blacks like him talking this. You Americans, when you're here off of civil rights, you're here off the back and the blood and the sweat from black Americans, but you want to talk this shit about what we ain't done? We the only motherfuckers that took on white supremacy head on. There is no fucking Jamaican Malcolm X. So he needs to shut that shit up. And as a matter of fact, ain't no poor whites in them slums. Black people live in the slums, and white people live in ivory fucking towers in Jamaica. So shut that work ethic shit up, mother.
all right, hey, no cuss words, man. All right, no, all right, come on, look. We're gonna go back to what we need to do to actually clean the system up. We're not talking about how poverty, other than the fact that we say kill all white people in your book or whatever. Or I mean, plain and simple. Maybe we just need to. One of the problems is maybe we need to all just poke each other's eyes out so that way we can't see each other's skin color. Maybe that will fucking help. I mean, because really, when it all boils down, I really don't give a shit what color the person is when it all boils down. It does not matter. I've never seen a skin color. You know, a white person could help me pull over and help me change my tire just as well as a black person can. I've never seen that where that has actually come into play in the real world. Only ignorant people get caught up over skin color or by what type of religion it is. But see, that's one, I will say, it's a very sensitive subject in America because, you know, you talk about religion or race, or even now, I mean, look at it. Even now, you know, what type of sexual orientation you have. I mean, those are, like, people are damn near killing each other for that shit.
Andre, can I say something? Because he made a historical fallacy and he used slick words when he said foreigner black. When Marcus Garvey came to America,
No.
Marcus Garvey entered into this friction between Booker T. Washington and a so-called Caribbean mulatto dude named W.E.B. Du Bois or Du Bois. And the same arguments that this dude presented just now are the same insults that he called foreigner black. It's the same thing that these two Americans, both the dark-skinned one and the mulatto one, used to push Marcus Garvey away. When Garvey was the one who had the better principle on how to fight racism, how to make black people great. Not that I'm saying that my strategy will make black people great, but the thing is, when you look at work ethics, black Americans don't want to own up. If black Americans had better work ethics after integration, a la not accepting welfare, living on generational handouts or dole from the government, living off the state's coffers or legacy, they would have been a better population. When black Jamaicans start coming into America, having 2, 3 freaking jobs, they had what do you call a comedy joke on In Living Colors that they said, "What are you, Jamaican?" If someone had 2 jobs, you were not so educated. So the way to get along in the 90s when money was booming was to have 2, 3 jobs. If they had opened the welcome carpet out to black Jamaicans or black Caribbeans or black Africans, they could have even built a bigger black contingency to the one that he's talking about. But now he doesn't want to do that. Shit hits the fan now, and the world is exposed as to how shit and low, piss-ass black people are in America. Now he wants the Kumbaya coalition. Go back. See, this is what I used to defend black Americans, until I move here to Sweden and see where real structural hindrance occur in terms of geographical location or the disadvantage, like someone like me who was born in Jamaica. And I used to hear my Jamaican friend talk piss dirt about black Americans. And I used to say, why do you talk like that about black Americans? Until I found Tommy. And then I heard Tommy talk. Now they're going to say I'm an Uncle Tom. Yeah, but the truth is, this dude have historical fallacies, and he's talking like he's some scholar talking about ignorant. I know just by the arguments that you present that you have not sit in a university and had rigorous analytical what do you call it, exercise on the issues that you claim to so much hold dearest to your heart. Nigga, you are uneducated. I'm way more educated than you.
Hey.
By credence.
Hey.
Not by paper. By credence.
Hi, Eric.
I just want
How you doing?
to interject a quick point, guys.
Hey, you're a coconut milk drinking stupid motherfucker. That's what you are.
Hey, why we
Coconut milk is really good for
Call
you.
me a
Great for
nigga.
your brain.
KP. Oh, Jesus Christ, KP. Stop
Hey,
it.
what's happening?
That's a fucking work alarm. That's how long I've been up.
Wow.
It's
Well-
24 hours.
House Finland.
I got a question. Why we fight?
No, I have to say this. You made a statement about slums and shit. Who's
Hey,
in the slums?
wait 1 second. Wait 1 second. Eric, I'm glad you found us, man.
Yes.
Hi, Eric.
Yeah, man.
We've
Hey,
been
you know,
looking for you, man.
I don't understand. I don't understand why we fight, man.
Hey,
Right.
Eric, we need your email, man, so we can get a hold of you.
Right, Eric, man, where have you been, man?
I'm glad I found you too, man.
What, they didn't, here's the question. Did you ask where I was?
What you say?
Did you ask where I was?
No, man. Hey, man. Hey,
Huh?
man. I've been off all.
I can't hear you.
That's what
Actually, you
happened.
know what? Listen. I heard the deal for Mad Black. Cause I checked out Mad Black. I checked out some of his videos, and then I found from Mad Black. Then I found your page, and I've been listening to you.
Okay.
Okay. So I said, yeah, you've come on an interesting night, I'll say that.
Yeah, man. Because you know why I came in, because I'm hearing the same fight between brothers back and forth, and I'm hearing brothers calling each other nigga back and forth,
Right.
and I'm tired of that shit. I'm too
Right.
old for that shit. I've been hearing that shit since I was a kid. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? And now there are points that have been made by both brothers. Okay, Christopher and by black. But the point of the matter is this, okay? Let's stop arguing the bullshit, okay? Let's move forward, okay? Everybody's been saying this for the longest time, but we're not doing it. We keep going back to slavery. You understand what I'm saying? We keep going back to white supremacy, oppression, da 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 da. Okay, so what? Okay, if you're in America, you got to play the game. It's just that simple. Play the game and bring yourself up. That's it.
Well,
Now,
I would say as an elder, by you coming from maybe a generation or two ahead of me, I would say that it's evident that it's your generation who is responsible for the failures of today because you guys didn't fight to build anything for us to inherit. You basically passed down. You basically passed down this curse of white dominance. You know,
okay.
you want to give advice today, play the game, but that's what you did, and it left us with another generation of job seekers, of non-ownership. So it's kind of far fetched for you to come in here and act like you're some sage because in your youth all you did was nothing.
Hey, Black, hold on before you answer that.
Let me answer that for you. Here's the
How
question.
old are you, Black?
Wait a minute, KP. Well, this is one problem too, KP. One of the things our younger generation has
Respect for elders.
is we have actually, as a younger generation, the younger
Respect
generation
is earned.
always fights the older generation. Think about it, where you sit up here and you want to sit there and talk, and we can't really blame the older generation when the younger generation fought and they made it to where they can't be disciplined by their parents, or kids have rights too. So basically, when we allow the kids to have their own way of thinking, have their own, rights and stuff like that, technically we allowed them to say, you know what, we're going to do what the fuck we want to do. So technically, each younger generation, we allow them to make the change. We have to take some responsibility for that because we said, no, we're not going to listen to you guys. And then we were actually given that right too.
Listen, let me tell you something about power.
No, Rampage, how old are you?
I'm 35.
Okay. Do you have any children?
Yeah.
Okay. Do your children or anybody in your children's age group blame you for anything?
Well, I'll tell you what, if I don't provide anything for her to inherit, she should.
Okay.
Why are
you blaming the generation before you, after you just said, hey, I'm standing on my own 2 feet and making something for my kids?
Well, here's the thing. Because of the older generation.
This is the problem. We keep blaming someone else.
You ask me a question. You ask me a question, and you interject with your horse shit. Allow me to answer the question, or you can just go on your own soliloquy, and I don't have to interrupt you. You ask me a question. So, do you want to answer? Or do you want to just be able to just skip past it? Because you're not looking for solutions. You're looking to trap. So, do you want me to answer the question or what?
Because I'm trying to get you to understand realization and reality. What you lived in your own fucked up world. That the white man is responsible for everything and everyone else is to blame, instead of saying, hey, you know what? I am fucking up. Let me make a change. Let me tell other people, hey, stop being like me. Stop being like my brother. Stop being like my sister. Let's change. You want to keep saying, hey, let's blame the white man. Let's blame our parents. Let's blame our grandmother. Let's blame slavery, motherfuckers I never even known of. That's what you keep doing.
No, well that's false. But I clearly stated my no. Listen, either what I'm saying.
It's false when you keep saying the white man set up a system, and because of slavery, because of slave syndrome, that's why we're doing this. That is the blame game. So you sit up here saying that you're not blaming someone, you're lying.
Listen, blame when it comes to actual facts. When you use misleading words, that's white racist talking points.
What misleading words did I give you, sir?
Because you're saying that I'm blaming when all I'm saying is
this. What misleading words did I just give you?
Blame is a misleading word. Did you
just not tell Eric that it's his generation that fucked you up?
I said they didn't provide. That's not a blame. So this
is a blame.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
But
Jones.
didn't you say it was white people's fault that black people are
Listen,
down? So you're
this
blaming
is the
him for something
You're
white people
blaming white
did, but it's
people.
his
okay.
fault?
Look. I'm being attacked by two people. I'm being attacked by
No, because you
anti-blacks.
know why
You're
you
just
feel like you're
blame
being attacked?
No,
shifting.
no,
Because
no.
You're
I'm
a
you
not. I'm
have
blame
not.
lied.
shifter.
Oh
Whenever a
God.
person lies, when somebody presents them with facts, they feel like they're being attacked.
Listen,
When's
listen,
They're feeling
when's the
Wait,
last
listen,
time? When's the
listen,
last
here's the
time
listen.
you
question.
traveled?
Here you go.
Hey
Question.
panel. Hey
Wait,
panel.
wait a
Hey
minute. Tony,
panel. Panel. I got a request.
what's that?
Let Black go ahead and ask the question. Let Black go ahead and answer the question. Go ahead, Black.
Now, I just got a quick question for Black. Here's the
Mhm.
question. When do you actually take some responsibility for something?
Okay, all right. Well, like I said, we can get into personal responsibility when we have diagnosed the problem. You know, you can't go to step 10 without and skip everything in between.
Well,
My
give us
point is this.
30 seconds on each step real quick. Then not just sum it up in
Step 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You're still blaming something.
right.
Right. Blaming. Like I said, blaming is something that can be interpreted one way or the other. A fact of white supremacy, racism, and a fact of black generations poorly responding to it. Thus, the only thing they pass on is subjugation. That's not blame. Those are facts.
Blame.
You don't like them. No. You don't like facts because you don't like to walk in reality. So that's why you have a problem with what I'm saying. What I'm saying is a fact. White people started the problem. The other generation poorly reacted to it, and that's what we have. Black Wall Street poorly reacted to white terrorism because they didn't focus on ammunition and weapons, along with shoe shines and barbershops and dentists. And that's why I got wiped out, because they think like you. They think there's such a thing as a good white person when historically
Did
there
they
isn't.
not try to rebuild Black Wall Street 3 different times? And it failed.
How do you miss my
So
point?
who do you blame for that?
It failed because they didn't properly respond to white terrorism.
Don't stutter.
Huh?
Don't stutter.
But it was built during terrorism.
I said, but your response to
You're
white
beating
terrorism.
your own self.
Hey, no, I'm not. Shut the fuck up, KP. Like, I've been nice, man. You got to shut the fuck up.
Hey, Black.
He's
Come on now.
It's all good, man. I don't get to
Because I'm trying to have a conversation, but what he does, he just keeps circling, and I'm like, I've answered your question.
No, I give
but
you direct questions, sir.
You don't
You
give
like
direct shit.
questions.
Andre, can I say something, Andre?
Go for it, Chris.
From a foreigner, Negro, coconut drinking. When's the last time have you traveled? Name some places in the world that you've traveled that were black or white run or have a mixture of demographics.
Okay, I've been to Jamaica, I've been to Hawaii, I've been to Germany, I've been to London and Mexico. That's the extent of my international travel.
And what did you notice there?
Wherever there's black and non-black, you'll find black abuse.
You find what?
Huh?
I said whenever there's blacks and non-blacks, you'll find black abuse.
What about blacks in Africa? And
Well, look. Shut up. Because I never said I never said I was in Africa.
No, Black.
I never said I was in Africa.
I think she just stumped your ass, man.
I never said I went
She
to Africa.
just
So
stumped you.
that's a stupid
He
question.
got stumped by a
No,
white.
that was a valid question. Stumped your ass.
I've never been
Good
there.
job,
So how is that a
Tony.
valid?
Okay,
I've never been
explain-
there. So how is that valid?
so
explain in
it
the
doesn't have
UK.
no
By a white
relevance
girl.
because you've never been.
Explain how blacks in the UK live the same way as blacks in America, in two of the most richest countries in the world. I guess you're going to point to subjugation, right, or oppression.
Well, listen. One thing's for certain: in both countries, but blacks overwhelmingly represent the imprisoned, and that's how you tell the story of their position in society. If you're filling their prisons, you're powerless because you're constantly being targeted and punished. So that should properly seal your fate for the evening.
No, you constantly fill their prisons by committing even simple stuff as with your impulse. If you know,
Okay, you're not no racism, no targeting. The laws aren't written against you. It's simply victim blaming. You're in prison because of everything
You know what,
you
Black?
did wrong.
you like to
Excuse me,
switch it
Black.
around.
Hey,
You
Black,
like to
hey,
put
Black.
responsibility on others.
Hold on, Chris. Black, stop that bullshit, okay? Since the 1970s, in the major cities in the USA, okay, and black areas, okay? We talk about how the CIA dropped drugs and everything into the communities, okay? Did the black people have to sell it to each other? The black people had to poison each other that way? Were we forced to do that? But we did it, didn't we? Didn't we? We did that to ourselves, didn't we?
Hello, can you hear me?
Okay, so
We can
the
hear you,
conversation.
Michael.
So you're telling me
What
that
I'm saying is when you destroy yourself, you can't blame anybody else for it.
Yep,
That's what I'm
correct,
saying.
Eric, correct. I
So
just
for the
used the
people
word
who
with him,
destroy themselves,
impulse.
we also have people who are productive citizens in society. They go to school, they learn a skill, learn a trade, okay? They're in politics, okay? You understand what I'm saying? The point is that when you're in a position, when you're in any position of any authority, you utilize that authority to help your people. If you're not doing it, then you're wrong. Okay? Case in point, Marion Barry. Elected mayor twice, black man, okay? Got caught using crack, black man, okay? This man was in a position of authority. This man was in a position of power to help black people in his community. What did he do? Okay? So see, don't come at me with all this oppression. We know the oppression is there. So fucking what?
oh my God,
Okay?
oh my God,
But
you're an ant under the heel of an elephant, and you're saying fuck
but
that elephant.
here's the question. Here's the question though for you, straight Chris. We're plain and simple. We know that we've talked. Like I said, I've had enough talks with you, so I've been through the 10 steps already. So I already know. I done been through your 10 steps of how you say. But now, since everybody has heard the bad part and you saying all the bad shit, this, that, and the other, let me hear some of the good things now that you think that we need to do, other than the straight attacks and the blatant shit about distance yourself from white people or whatever. Let me hear a solution to the fucking problem that actually we can start doing as of right now. Answer that question there.
uh, we can separate ourselves from white dominance and white dependency and white people,
And by doing what?
sacrificing and
Sacrificing what?
coagulating our sacrificing sacrificing our needs for for the bigger cause, meaning that if that means that no, you don't get this white on this white on that, and you build yourself or you fund the building from other black people for the benefit of black people. So then you sacrifice. That means no Jordans, no weaves, no dumb shit. You're going to put all this towards building and creating resources for your children to enjoy. So we're going to have to sacrifice the rest of our lives so that our children don't have to. And that means that you have to limit or eliminate your proximity to whites.
Like, okay, here's the question: how do you live? Just take us through, say, the year, the average day in the life of your life. Like, what is, since you say these are the things we must do? Let's see what people like, that have your type of beliefs and it's very strong, opinionated like that. What things you don't do that the average black person does? I want to hear that.
What things I don't do? Well, I try to frequent as many black businesses as I can. My toilet paper is Freedom Paper. It's a black company. I try to shop with spend my money as black as possible, and I definitely limit, if not eliminate, my access to white people. Anything more than I have to, I do. I don't socialize. I don't party. I don't converse. There's no such thing as a white friend. I keep it with my people, and I try to keep it like that on a daily basis.
365 days a year.
Can I ask you a question? You said that one
You
of the
asked the question.
problems.
You asked. Can you ask me? I'm saying no.
Okay, I'm going to ask it anyway. You said that the problem with Eric's generation is that they didn't leave anything to inherit. But if you're saying that the majority of the wealth is coming from white people, how are you going to build wealth if you don't work with other people who have it to build it? Like, how are you going to do that if you completely cut yourself off and, I mean, just go live in an island?
Well, here's the thing. It's not me cutting myself off. I'm reacting to the everyday segregation that we deal with. White people have been found that even if a house fits their every need, if it's around black people, they won't live there. Property value is measured by how many white people live there. So what I'm saying is the segregation is clear. It's not my creation. I'm just reacting to it.
Why is property value estimated by who or the demographic of that community is? What are the reasons why?
What do you mean? I just told you white people say how much a house is because of its
Yeah,
proximity
why?
to white people.
What are those reasons? Why is it whenever there's a black neighborhood, the property values is not in comparison to a white neighborhood?
Oh, because white people are white.
It has nothing to do
You
with the
see,
crime levels in black neighborhoods.
Because
It
there's
it
plenty
has
there's
nothing to do with
plenty. Hold on. No. You
black
guys
people
about to
are
you about
lazy, don't fix up their fucking houses or
no.
take care of shit.
No. It has nothing to do with that. We're talking about comparables. So a black doctor's house and a white doctor's house. So what I'm saying is that when the
no,
black
don't
family,
shift the goalpost. That's
no,
not
Let
what
him
I
talk. Let him
asked.
talk. Let
Don't.
him talk, please.
Yeah, let
No.
him talk.
I'm not shifting the goalposts. We're talking about comparables. So we're not going to talk about somebody white who's a doctor versus a black bus driver. So we're not going to use that, right? We're going to use the top echelon of each community. And the reason why black neighborhoods like in DC and Atlanta and all these other things, those black suburbs can't compare to the white ones is because white people make the rules. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about that. It's nothing against mowed lawns because both lawns are mowed. It's nothing against a loud noise because both neighborhoods are quiet. So what the fuck are you
Can I
talking
say
about?
something?
How do white?
No, hold
How
up,
do
KP,
whites
KP,
make the
KP, hold
rules
up,
when it's an all
hold
black
up,
community?
KP, hold up. He said comparables, right? So I'm gonna narrow your argument to you again and catch you in your shit. If you have comparable blacks living by themselves, like you said, in a black suburbs, and they have the same almost same kind of generational wealth flowing through their hands, how
No.
is it that
You're adding. We're just
how
talking
am I
about real
adding?
estate. We're just talking about real
Oh, so we're
estate.
talking about real estate. If it's black
So
people
this
who owned it,
generational wealth, you can buy
dude,
one
let me
house.
finish. I let you speak. Let me
Let
finish.
them
Right,
finish.
Cause you're
listen,
full of shit. Let me speak.
I'm not gonna let you fuck me, coconut.
Let me
So you're
speak.
gonna have
No,
to
no, no,
stick
no.
to what it is.
Nigga, don't use fuck with me in
Oh,
a sentence.
All
don't
right,
sink
Don't
wait
to
a
use
minute.
fuck
his
with me in a
don't
Wait,
sink to his
sentence.
level, Chris.
wait, Chris, relax. We're not gonna do the name called Black. Watch the name calling, man. Neither way, I mean, it's a very sensitive subject. But going back to your point and debate your point without the calling of names.
Black is trying to assert his dominance because he already elected Christopher the leader of the black panel.
Black Lives Matter.
He's trying to assert his dominance over the leader who he elected himself as the
Listen,
darkest person.
if he said it's a black neighborhood and these black neighborhoods are doctors or the professional class, how the hell is it that they're so stupid that they're making white people make the rules to lower their property value? This nigga full of shit, man. Andre, stop bringing people like this around. Seriously, stop bringing people like this on the panel. Because he's full of shit. He said comparable, so I'm using his word. That means it's of equal essence and entity in its whole entirety. If you have a neighborhood that is run by black professionals, they own their property. They're doctors, they're engineers, they're coons, probably like me. How is it that we still, with the property value, white people make the rules? That doesn't make any sense.
The
It
fuck?
doesn't make any sense.
Patrick, that background noise, Patrick.
Oh, my bad.
I hate to say something, Chris. I have to agree with that because I was sitting there thinking, I know an area here not too far from here, and it's they built all these new homes. Now all these new homes are owned by black people, and I mean, all of them retain their value because we were actually looking at houses over there the other day. So, but I think more what really hurts our value more. It depends on what type of black people you get because sometimes we get the lazy ones like from down in any city. Those people, they don't do shit for the community. They don't clean up. They just tear up. They never put anything in, but they keep taking out. It's like, having a bank account where you keep taking money out. Eventually, there's not going to be any money left because
No,
you
no,
never
no.
put any in.
This is apples and oranges. The black people you're talking about aren't homeowners. But what I want to talk to Chris. Is he still here? Chris, you still here?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm here.
Hey, guys,
Yeah.
if you got to talk before you guys start speaking, do not start name calling. I will
Right. No name
put your
calling.
ass out of here.
Hey, look, man. I'm not name calling, but you ain't my daddy neither. I'm talking to Chris. So shut up.
But no, the next one calls a name has to go. That's
I'm not.
how. No
I
name
addressed him.
calling. We're just gonna look. We're gonna
In
end it
fact,
like that.
Dre,
Everybody on a clean slate. No name calling. Facts only.
Hey,
I
Dre.
said I was going to talk to Chris. I was going straight to him.
Hey, Dre. Pass controls, man.
Hmm.
First one to call a name is gone. No name calling. So between you guys, keep the names off. Fact to state your point. So go ahead.
Listen, what I was bringing up to him was he's sitting here because it doesn't make sense, doesn't make it not so. There are black professionals in black neighborhoods that don't control the economy. They're still consumers. Those houses weren't built by blacks. They're not financed by blacks, and it still makes them slaves to the system. So just because you don't understand it doesn't make it not so. And so
No,
they
I asked
control.
why. Not. I asked why. So you know what you're basically saying? You're saying that even when blacks are supposedly intellectuals, that our intellect is subjugated by white intellect. You're the one that's building this ivory tower of white supremacy.
Okay. So I'm building an average. So you left your black island to live in Europe, and that's not the
No, we
result of
didn't.
white supremacy?
No. Let correction. We didn't leave a black island. Go listen to what the Jamaican motto is: out of many, one people. We don't live with racial friction like how you guys do in America. That's one thing you should get out there. Since you say you know and you've traveled to Jamaica, Jamaica is not a black island. Jamaican food is not even black food. It's a fusion of Asian, Spanish, whites, Indians, Creoles. So let's get that right. It's not a black
Okay.
island. We
Okay.
don't
So if
go
it's a
around saying
fusion,
that.
okay, it's not a black island. It's a few because I know Rastafarian is very black, but you're gonna make something up for that. So what I'm saying is it's a fusion. Then why is it that the only people in those slums are black? But it's a fusion
Correction
of all this
again.
other things.
Correction again. Rastafarian is itself a walking contradiction because they're using white
Okay.
Jesus. Go on, based on your own ideology now. Their own philosophy is branched off from white Jesus. So it's not pure
Okay.
black.
Okay.
Go
Well,
ahead.
like I said, they follow Rastafari, who's an Ethiopian, Haile Selassie. So I don't know what you're talking about.
They
But what I'm
use
saying is,
Jesus. They use the Bible. They use the Bible. They use King David, who was white, who was a Jew.
okay, well, that I'm asking you, answer my question. This is a melting pot. It's not a black island. Why are black people the only poor ones?
Because the black ones who are in the poor all have something in common, both in America and in Jamaica. Anti-intellectual, very impulsive, like what European scholars have said. The Negro is impulsive. I wanted to prove that person so wrong, but then when I look at black behavior, bro, I was a liberal. I was a dead hard staunch, probably not as pro-black as these niggas, but I was into Africa. And you know what I recognized being here in Sweden and living and seeing how black people even live here in Europe, or how black people, when they get the greatest chance of opportunity, how they don't budge like a silverback who's been caged. Black people are anti-intellectual. The dominant black people that are breeding now, we are a group of anti-intellectual. We're impulsive. We see things only on a binary scale, where it's only either this or it is not that. And that's the problem. That's the first problem that you fix poverty in black countries and in black America. Stop this or that. That's the first thing. The second thing, black people need, and I'll agree with you here, maybe we need our own philosophers, not rappers. We need our own philosophers where we sort of communicate an idea of the greater amount of good, like what Kant did for white people with utilitarianism, with being the great amount of good for the great amount of effort and communication that will help black people. We don't do that. Blacks are poor at what do you call philanthropy. We don't volunteer. We don't help out black cause. Blacks always have to do stuff about money. I bet you there was no blacks who gave away another black for free to the Europeans. How comes you don't talk about that? Huh? Blacks
'Cause
sold blacks. We didn't volunteer and gave blacks to Europeans.
that's another false narrative. Did the white man steal more than he bought?
What
And you never.
false narrative? Is it not a fact
No,
that black
no,
people
no, no,
sold
no, no, no,
slaves?
no. But this is what I'm saying. You blame the creator of the slave economy, not the ones who reacted to it. Did he
Because
steal more than he bought?
Hey,
Answer that question.
hey, Black. When you say the white man, are you including the Jews into that and the
Yeah, because
Spaniards into that?
Yeah, I'm considering all of them. As a matter of fact, America considers them white, and I'm going off of their census.
According to your work, they
Okay,
did.
when
Yeah,
I gave you
white
the
man got
census of
more.
blacks, you didn't like that.
Say it again, KP.
I gave you the census of what blacks are defined as. You didn't like that.
I don't recall you doing that, KP. But
Yes, you
continue,
did.
Chris.
No, you're
I
right.
recall that.
According to
Who
your
cares?
word, but look at it. Who was the more stupider?
Thank you,
Was it the
Tony.
was it the black slave seller or the white man? Because the black man gave up a body, a human body, for basically chump change, for crumbs. He gave up another black man's back for crumbs.
Okay. Did the white man steal more than he bought with his
That's
superior
what I said. I
firepower?
said according to your economic word, he did. I
No,
answered that.
no. Then listen again. You've been making false statements all
Okay.
night.
Here's
You said that. Hold on, Drake. Let me finish my thought, will you? You said that Rastafarians believe in a white Jesus. That's false. I let that
No,
go.
I never said, bro. You
Hey,
can't
guys,
tell me
Yes, you
more
did.
about Rasta than,
can
bro. You can't tell me more about Rasta than I lived. I grew up with Rastafarians. I said
The,
their
eh,
philosophy, where they link back stuff to Ethiopia,
you said
came
white
from white.
Jesus.
Yes, no, Selassie is the one they looked for. They found Selassie from coming from King Solomon all the way up. That's white philosophy. If they were so pro-black, why were they using the Bible to find their Mecca? Why did they
when
use the
when I
Bible?
when I told you that the Rastafarians were a black centered group, you told me no, they believe in white Jesus. Those are
No,
your
I never
exact
said that.
words.
No, no, that's a lie. That's a lie. I said their philosophy derived from the white Bible. I know that. Wish you're gonna tell me, Christopher Dale, don't know about Rasta, that Rasta. If you say anything about Selassie, Rasta will use to kill you like all the Muslims will kill you if you insult Muhammad. How you gonna tell me that I don't know about that they praise Selassie?
Hey,
Come on,
look.
dude. You're
Hey,
trying to win
hey,
points.
the
Stop
the
trying to win.
playback
Stop
the
trying to win points in
who
debate.
win points
Stop
with
trying to
who?
listen.
I'm
Please
not
listen this.
debating. I'm not debating an
Stop
equal. I'm
trying to win
educating you.
points in educate what? Nigga, do you got credentials?
Hey, hey, now we agreed to the name calling.
Right, no name calling. I figured
Can,
that was a figure of
But
speech.
how come he gets to call out Christopher for calling him names, but he gets to just tell me to shut up like it's cool?
that's not a name calling, and you should be
Yeah, but it's
quiet.
All
very
right, you know what? Okay, yeah.
disrespectful.
Let me not
It's
say
very
that then because
disrespectful. If you want respect, you should give it.
you
Shut
just
up.
said it. Say that's
Do
to be
have
He
earned.
did it again. He's like a 4-year-old that didn't
All
learn
right, hold
manners.
on. Or you know what?
You know what, Andre?
Hey,
I'm signing off, man,
we getting,
because
wait a minute, guys. We
no,
are
Andre, I'm
wait,
I'm
wait,
signing off,
wait.
Andre.
Stop.
Chris,
Let me
hold on a
stop.
second.
Chris, wait a minute.
Dre,
We're
go ahead, man.
we're getting way too out of hand. Just literally, like I said, if you heard me say it in the chat room, I would admit we done fought so much about race tonight. I don't want to talk about race for at least another week.
It is true, man.
But
Get off the
listen,
race.
but this is the problem. I hate to say something. I think you're really both wrong when it comes to that. I think that racism, in my opinion, racism meant a lot of stuff back then. Now I think what racism really has to do with now, when it's got the difference between you're white, I'm black, I'm a Muslim, you're a Jew, you're a Christian, you're a Baptist, it's got more to do with divide and conquer. They don't give a fuck what color you are. It's the
Mm-hmm.
people, the top
I will
1%,
I will agree with that.
right, the top 1% control the 99. And that's one of the things that people don't understand. It has nothing to do with that. You could be LeBron James and worth $1 billion. And I hate to tell you something. You still ain't one of the top 1%.
And you can
And
be
that's the
broke within 10
problem
years.
you don't see. The problem is it has nothing to do with that. Racism, I hate to say something, it's over and gone. It's more of hogwash and divide and conquer. It has
Listen,
nothing to do with anything like that. Because
li-
technically, if we wanted to be some assholes, the 99 should say, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just knock off the top 1% and then everything go back to fucking normal.
racism ended when they invented bloody capitalism. There was no more need to
I
have
hate to
racism.
say that shit, but I mean, I really mean, when we sit up here and we talk about we gonna go kill this motherfucker here or go kill that motherfucker there, now I'll probably wind up dead because I'm the host of the show, but I hate to say, you know what, women say, you know what, fuck it, we're gonna go kill the top 1% and then call it a fucking day.
Right. But Andre, in your personal life, you don't have anyone. In your personal life, you are the result of a specific decision. Those who said that your life is regulated to a specific amount of confines, all of them were white. There is no black apparatus to protect you from
I would say
racism.
it was probably Jew and Jewish most likely.
Okay, you can split hairs and enjoy that. But what I'm saying is this capitalism thing, then it wouldn't be the top 1% wouldn't be all white. So racism is in whatever you put on this planet, and it's because of white people.
Wait a minute. Wait. How are the? Wait. Here's the question. How are the top 1%? As you say, they're white. And they're most likely Jews. Because Jews, I will admit, my city where I live, we have a very high percentage of Jewish people here, and they do not identify themselves as white people.
Well, trust me. They may, in their own little sects, they may say it, but the census says it, and the way Israel treats the African says it. So there is no, they don't consider. They can talk that shit amongst themselves, but they will align themselves with white people.
You
No
can't bring
doubt.
up the you can't bring up the census.
It's white. It's white
Right.
conducted.
You already told me that
Right.
I couldn't, so you
Right.
can't do it either.
Right. I never said that. I never said that.
Yes,
But
sir.
I said that you're bringing when you listen, KP, you don't bring anything to the conversation. To be quite truthful, everything you say comes from the same angle. It's been consistently incorrect, and that's
No,
almost like you're
I
mutant
gave you
power.
every. I
No,
know
no, no,
what
no,
I have done is let you beat your own self up, sir.
no. You can't
Yes.
because I'm your
Yep.
I'm your superior. But this is what I'm saying. Your
Okay,
mutant
so
ability.
okay, stop right there. So you're my superior. Then how are you defeating racism and prejudice?
Uh,
Ooh.
I'll let you hang your own self every single time.
I'm
You
I'm
can never
I'm not
answer a question I gave you tonight.
I'm not defeating racism.
You're not? Why not?
What do you mean? Why not? Because racism isn't an individual sport; it's a group. I'm on the losing team.
So what do you do since you're on a losing team and you know that's the game that you're playing? So what do you do then?
You
Andre,
just
didn't we go over this? My daily routine? Didn't we just go
you
over this?
just you just second-handedly gave white supremacy another letter up on
Thank you. You
supremacy.
just beat yourself.
What do you mean? I'm realistic. Racism is a group sport. This is a league,
Okay.
and I'm on the losing team. So how is that giving them a
So
leg
you're
up?
saying
You
They
think
can.
blacks
there's
are
other
shit?
people that think
You
like
just
you?
so
So
you
No,
just
no,
said
no.
that
Hold on,
blacks
Pat.
are
Hold
shit.
on, Chris.
I
Are
said I
there
said
other
black I
people that
said
think like
blacks are losing. I said we're losing in this game. We are losing right now. I didn't say we
you
were
said
shit.
we?
We are
You said we.
losing.
So we is more than one. So that is a group. Thank you. You
Right.
lost.
How did
You
I
lose,
lose?
sir. Good day.
Something's wrong with you, man. Because something's wrong with you. Because I'm saying that we're on the losing team. I don't see how that's giving
You
anything.
said we.
Whites.
You just said
I
it's
just said
not
I
a
said
group. You
racism is
just
a
said
group
we. We
sport.
is a group.
I said racism is not an individual. It's a group sport. KP.
Yes, and you just said we are losing.
Hey, yo, I'm gonna sign off, man. KP, he's making it hard for me not to call him some names, and
No,
So
so
who's
no.
the we? Who's the we are losing? Who's the we
listen.
that is
I
No.
losing?
just told you
You're signing
racism
off
is
because
a
you're
group
losing, sir.
sport. No, I'm
I
signing off
don't have
because
to
you're
call you.
aggravating me.
I haven't called you name, but maybe once.
Well, listen,
And I'm
you're
giving the benefit of
aggravating
the
me.
doubt.
I
And I
told you
apologize for that.
racism is a group sport. I'm on the losing team. So that's
Yeah,
what I
so who's
said.
the team? Who's the team? What's the
Black people.
composition of the team?
The
So
team is black people. Racism is a
so
group sport. So
so why
white
don't
people are the
that
winning
we
team.
change the tables? How
Okay, so
why
you
and
keep
how
pushing
can't
it.
that we
You
change the
keep
table?
you keep
Pushing
pushing it.
what?
You keep
What
pushing it. You
pushing
keep
what?
pushing it. I just told you
Pushing
the
what?
team, and then you're like, okay, you designate a team. Oh, how do you win the game? And I'm just telling you, I haven't defeated it. So you just move it at your convenience. Let
No,
me
no, no,
score.
no, no, no. You're just showing or you're highlighting, whether you know it or not, indirectly, you're saying that blacks are inferior.
No, I said we're losing the game. Inferior never came out.
You don't
I
like
just
to
said we're
use your own
losing.
words.
We're
Well, it's
losing this. We're
implied. It's
losing.
implied from
No,
your from the argument you premised that
no, that's not
blacks,
true.
that white people in the game of racism will always win. Their tactics, their strategy, their intellect seems to be or seemingly is much more adapt and advanced than blacks are in terms of their reaction to racism and to overcome it.
No. Listen, that's not true. I'm simply stating the facts. White people control armies and economies. They are number one. How is this something that is debatable with you?
I mean, they never won what?
On Earth,
They're number one on Earth. What's the second
Mm,
largest? What's the second largest
No,
continent?
because the five of the most populated countries are not white people.
I
What's the
said
China
that.
second
I
is
said,
one.
largest
China is one
continent?
of
listen,
them.
numbers ain't got nothing to do with you when you control the armies and the banks.
No, you
So
just said largest, so that's a number.
I didn't say largest. I said that they were winning. I didn't. What are you
Yes,
talking
you
about?
did
I
say
said they. Oh,
number.
hey, dog. Hey, listen, man. This is the
You
last time
did.
I'm gonna let you do this. I said that they
You
were.
did.
No, no. Shut up. I did not.
No,
I
you
said that
did.
they.
You
I said
did.
that they
You did.
control the
You did.
armies and the banks. I didn't
And
say
I and
anything
I
about
said and I
numerical.
said to you, three of the largest or the most populated countries actually in the world are
What's
not
the
white.
population have to do with
Because
controlling the
an
armies
army
and the bank?
entails individuals, right? An army entails individuals.
Guys,
I know. I see the point that Black's making. Okay, I'm not gonna whitewash this now. I see the point that Black's making. What he's saying is that when you control economies, when you control militaries, yes, you control large swaths of the earth. It's been
Thank you.
proven through history time after time after time. That's a fact
Thank
of
you.
life. You can't
Thank
deny
you.
that. I
Eric,
understand that. But Chris, but Black. Okay, you say that. Okay, racism in team sport. Okay, and you're on a losing team with Black people. Now the thing about it is that we have to come up with a strategy where we don't continue to be the losers. In other
I,
words, we're not losing into our perpetuity.
I agree. I agree. 100%. I agree
That's
with
the
that.
issue. That's the issue that has to come forward, and that's the strategy that we have to work on and talk about. We can't keep saying, okay, we're oppressed. We know we're oppressed. Okay, okay, we know that.
Oh, I don't have any
How
pushback
do
for
we
that.
how do we free ourselves from the oppression? That's the question now.
all right, Mighty. Who is this Mighty with the avatar? Are you a troll? Because if not, say something. We're gonna kick you.
I've heard him use the word power, and if he knows about power, because he says he's an intellect, then he'll know wherever there's power, power itself is nothing, because there's going to be resistance. So let's talk about the resistance to poverty. Let's talk about the resistance to dominance. Let's talk about one of the things that we've resisted in black community, which could have made us better, about being educated. Not no, don't tell me, oh, the white man education. No, no, no. Being aware, having credentials, so you can have plumbers, you can have welders, you can have thinkers. These all have to go through a discipline of education. And black people, given that we don't have these numbers, just shows that we're undisciplined. We can't even be disciplined in the sacrifices that you talk about in life that can get us out of hell into glory. We don't want to do that. Why is
Well,
that?
I think it's centuries of conditioning.
Ah, Jesus, man.
Listen, you want to eliminate history. We didn't get here all of a sudden. This was a process. So if what you're saying is true, then what I'm saying is that hey, look, man, it took centuries for us to get here. So we have to recognize that and know that it's a process. We
All
didn't
right,
just
listen,
wake up.
listen. I just hear you try to mimic Jamaican accent. I never tried to mimic yours. Don't throw it ad hominems, okay?
How
Because
was I didn't try to insult
you
you.
you said look man.
Is that
I heard you. I
you
heard you.
listen?
I
You're
heard
using
you.
you're using
I
English and
heard
not
you.
patois. So
I
I
heard
I, I
you.
use I gave you a little bit of
No,
patois and you're tripping.
no, 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 no. No, no, no. I haven't spoke any patois with you on the panel. So stop. You're being disingenuous and you're a liar when you say that.
I said you're using English. So I use some patois, and all of a sudden I'm
Why
number one
would you do
villain.
that? Why would you do that when we're speaking it? You see, this is what I'm talking
All
about.
right,
Always the need to
wait. We're going off on a tangent here, guys. Look, I hate to say something. I've done more fighting today than I think that I have in so long. I don't want to talk about any more fighting anymore. Can we just talk about, look, as of today, say fuck all the bullshit, all of that. Don't matter how I don't really give a damn how we got here. As of tomorrow, when we wake up in the morning, what the fuck are we gonna do differently? Can we all get to that, please?
American blacks are scared of that reality.
That's what
They
I
would,
want. I want to
they would
just.
rather
I
point a
understand you just
finger.
can't sweep it under the rug, Platt, but I hate to say something. No offense. We've exhausted that part of the story out long enough. Now I
You know
want to
what,
talk
Andre?
about what are we going to do tomorrow morning.
Andre, you know
Accept
what?
responsibility and have accountability for your actions.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Stop blaming everybody.
And the thing about it is, the point of the matter is that as far as taking on that mission, um, whether we want to hear it or not, you gotta be willing to die for it. The hood's not gonna clean up itself. The people in the hood got to clean up the hood, okay? And they got to be and ultimately they got to be willing to snitch, which means what? Ultimately, they got to be willing to die. Isn't it so? Isn't it so?
Mm.
Think about it, okay? Talk about how people. You talk about how people in the hood, those decent people in the hoods who do have families, who do work every day, okay? How they're held hostage by the thug, right?
Mm-hmm.
You got to get rid of the thuggery. Now, if we're going to get rid of the thuggery from the inside the hood, that means the people in the hood got to be willing to snitch on the thugs, right? To get them arrested, get them out of the hood,
Bingo.
right?
Bingo.
Right?
Yep.
You got to be ultimately you got to be willing to die for it, right?
Yep.
Okay. Now, this is the only reference I'm going to go. And the thing about it is, people have always been willing to die for their cause. If you think about it,
Not the black man.
any revolutionary change that has been made in the history of human civilization, people have ultimately been willing to give the ultimate sacrifice for it.
Not the black man.
Okay.
Not the American black man, that is. Because Jamaicans were willing to die to get the British off our islands. Americans sing Kumbaya.
Oh,
We shall
so much
overcome.
so, so much so that Jamaica is this black bastion of peace and tranquility. Is not owned and
We're not
controlled by
talking about
whites.
tree. We're not talking about peace because
Yeah,
we
yeah,
know
yeah,
that
yeah.
black people,
Because you guys are going to willing to die, right? You
even
guys
in
are willing to die.
even in the peaceful country of America, just that we just spoke about, blacks are held captive in their own vicinities or enclaves where there only black people existed. So that just
No,
highlights
I
the root.
have to say, this as well, guys. For all these people who claim they're from North Africa, realize one thing: if you want to be in America, you're considered white.
See, you see what KP just did? Nothing has nothing to do with what we're talking about, and he just throws things in because he's
No, I'm
professional
giving you
at what he's doing.
facts. I'm giving you facts.
What's that got to do with anything? You just say stuff that just falls out of your face.
Because you want to sit up here and say you. A lot of people like to say. I'm not saying you directly. A lot of folks like to say, "Oh, I'm from Egypt." Is that North Africa? Like to be so associated with it and be so down for the cause and be pro-black. We have heard this shit. You're labeled as that.
Listen,
Man,
when I was at university, we had student union, right?
You don't like to hear. You don't like to hear facts.
17,000 Cubans born or Cubans student, and the rest were mixture, blacks, American blacks, Asian, maybe 2%. When it was time to get funding, the black student union want money, but they didn't want to come out and do philanthropy like go into these old homes in Florida to help. I guess because the people were mostly old white people, so they didn't want to go I guess volunteer with old white people, but they sure wanted the brunt of the funding that was given by the university to have parties. They never invited any speaker. They never did anything substantive or offered any veritable solutions. They just complained every day. And when we gave them their own student union, independent student union, it was an intellectual ghetto. Nothing happened there. So we had to bring all the groups under this one student government back again. That's the new student government at Florida International University. And
I
this
got a
is what
question. Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead, Chris.
and this is why I used the point. I said when black Americans are faced with independence and responsibilities, they're scared shitless.
one interaction, but the Jamaicans are
I
the
gave an
are the
example. I gave an
well,
example.
right. So this
There's many.
But
There's many.
you use an example to paint an entire group. But
There's
but
many.
Jamaica is this place where
There's
it's
many.
where the because you're using Jamaicans as the pinnacle of black resistance.
Never
You guys are
said
willing.
that. Never
Yes,
said that.
yes,
Never
yes.
said
Because
that.
you're comparing
Never.
the two.
You
You're
like to
comparing
put
the
words in
two.
people's mouth. You're too sensitive, dude. You're too sensitive as a man. You're too sensitive. Get off
Okay,
that. You're
okay.
too
Okay.
sensitive.
I'm
All
okay.
right.
I'll
Let's
take
stop
that.
fighting. Let's stop fighting. Hey, listen. I got a question. Okay. Now, this is how it's done. This is how white people have been doing it in America for the longest time. The donors to their universities, okay? The past graduates, the alumni members of the universities often do philanthropy, okay, for the betterment of the community and future generations. I think we need to follow that strategy with our so-called historically black colleges and universities. Okay, we got fraternities, we have sororities. We need to do that. Um, these people need to be encouraged to do that because
Agreed.
if
Agreed,
these people
Eric.
are the educated and the intellectual people, they are the ones, okay, that can lead a charge, okay, and restructuring the quote unquote black community with the knowledge that they have. Spread it and share it with people in local areas where the universities are, where they've studied. The thing about it is, effort has to be made. Okay, the time for the blame game is over. Effort has to be made to move forward. Okay, it's reconstruction of black community by black people. Okay, and if you're talking about doing that, you're talking about the black people who have the skills. Disseminate the knowledge, share the knowledge, and for those who are willing to take on the knowledge, okay, and progressively move forward, okay, and willing to build, those are the people you deal with. Those who that are not willing to do that, you leave them to themselves, especially the adults. The only problem that I have is that unfortunately, a lot of children suffer collateral damage because of that. But what I'm saying is that the adults be adults, do adult things.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I'm just waiting on Chris to provide some concrete examples of how Jamaicans got it right and the Black Americans got it wrong.
I
Where
can
the,
tell you. I can tell you for yourself that
hold on,
Jamaica is a piece of
hold on.
shit.
Okay, so what the fuck are you? What?
But
You
we're
talk
not
about?
talking. We're talking about what we're doing from now on. We're not talking about the past. We're talking about that. What are we doing from tomorrow when we wake up in the morning? What the hell are we gonna do?
Okay. Hey, you know what,
That's
Dre?
what I want.
I feel you on that. Listen,
Right.
panel. Hey, listen. I think that this. I appreciate you, Dre, for letting me be the voice of dissent. To be the opposing argument. You let me do it in peace. Your rules are a little rigid, but whatever. I appreciate it. To everybody
I
on
like
the
to say,
hold
I
on, hold
let
on.
you know like this. Anybody on the panel or anybody that knows me, they say I let you break a lot of them today.
Well,
So
well
that
look,
goes.
no, I
I just
feel
let
you.
you
No,
know
Dre, I appreciate it. You know what I'm saying? So, like I said, I appreciate it. Everybody on the panel, it was a great conversation. Chris, hopefully it ain't no hard feelings, man. About the whole no shoes and coconut shit. I was just, heat of the moment. And I forgive you for the nigger shit. But I had a good show. KP, you've passed Tony as the person I like the least. You are the
Well,
person I
thank
like
you.
the least. So I'm just giving you a heads up.
Hey,
All
you
right.
know what?
Good
That's
good
cool,
night.
man. And I give you two middle fingers up, brother.
Hey,
Good night.
good night to everybody except KP and the non-black.
That's good. Now go fuck yourself.
I
that.
rest I rest
Damn, yo.
Damn. All
You
right.
see? You see?
But this is supposed to be the place of modicum and
Let's
decorum.
not be
And you
that
got
Don't
way.
sit here and talk shit and don't expect shit to get back talk to you.
All right.
man, hey,
All
listen,
right.
I know for a fact you're a homosexual, KP. I'm out of here.
Nick. All right.
You see?
Oh, come on, man.
That's
Damn.
such a jackass
You know
move.
what?
Oh
Hey,
my
Black.
God.
Hey, Black, you know what? Okay, Black is gone. I was just about to tell him.
Hi, hello everyone.
Black has been gone.
No, I was just about to tell him that, I mean, if we grown people here, okay, this little shit that we doing here, this name calling, and I like you the least of everybody, and this, that, and the other, that shit, that's bullshit. That's for kids. That's high school shit,
Right.
okay?
But
You
I'll
know,
let you
we
know.
need to stop doing that shit.
Yeah, I told him like I said is that's his first time here. I'll let you know. I know him from our old shows that when I was back in the day. That's how
Yeah,
he jokes.
I remember him too.
One of the things, right. He
Jokes?
joke. No, he did. Yeah, that's unfortunate.
Jokes?
Yeah, like if he gives you basically like this, he won't give you. You could have saved his kids out of burning building. You ain't getting a compliment. I'm just letting you know that he's just that type of a guy. And I mean, it's funny. Like after a while, after you fight with him, then y'all probably at the end you'll have like you'll hate his guts, and then maybe the last 20 minutes of the show, then y'all will sit there be joking and laughing. That's
I
just
hope
how.
I hope he knows that I just played a real agitator to provoke him.
Oh, of course. I mean, plain and simple is,
Straight up.
look. Look. Why you think I let you do it? He already did his.
Because the logic that these guys are carrying around, these one that said they want to rebuild black community or rebuild the black family, as
Right.
they so-called say, it's filled with so much, and he likes using the word fallacy, but that word is vague. I'm
Well,
going to say, I'm going to say, he says fallacy. Oh, you're pointing out fallacy. That's just a fancy word. It's not fallacy because you can learn from a fallacy. You do research and it comes out wrong, you learn from it. But
But
what's
I'm saying
happening with these blacks or that they're filled with too many idiosyncrasies.
now,
Too
Christopher.
many.
But listen. Like some people are saying, well, why did I let him come on the show or this, that, and the other? You don't realize something. A
No,
lot
I
of
want him on the show.
no, listen. You need to know that there are people out there like that have those views. Him
Yeah.
having his views like that. I hate to say something. He like the black Donald Trump. I mean, that's just. I mean, literally. I was sitting there. That's what I say. He's like the black Donald
Well,
Trump.
see, Andre, you have to
I
call
mean,
out people. You have to call out people on their hypocrisies. He said the proximity away from white people. So,
well,
if you want,
I hate to say.
if you wanted so much freedom from white people, you
Uh,
should go to a country that it's all black.
I
You shouldn't
hate
stay in America. You're enjoying the security and the prowess and might of white people. You're enjoying that while at the same time hating them because the security that you enjoy, where you can live in this
Hey,
nice black
Chris.
neighborhood.
Chris. Hey, I'm going to piggyback off you. Somebody in last show, I can't remember the guy's name, said, "What was done for blacks? What the fuck did blacks do for blacks?"
Thank you. Like
In
I'm
the
gonna tell you
last
like
50 years, what the fuck blacks did for blacks?
he makes a point every now and then, but it's
Yeah, and I
like
conceded to them. But he is also dishonest because he won't concede when you give a point
no,
that
here
is valid. He doesn't want to acknowledge it. So how can you have seriously substantive conversation with that pertains to solution when you have someone who will not budge? That's the trait of these black women in these black families that he talks about saving the black family. That's one of the reasons why the black family can't rebuild because we have this black hegemon that stands there and refuse to accept logic even when the empire is crumbling. And the black empire, as much
Sim-
the kumbaya that they like to talk about, the
yeah,
Kemet and
baby,
whatever,
I'm
it
simping,
it
baby.
it it has crumbled in front of our eyes. The greatest pum pum, the pum pum with the what do you call it? The halo. It's basically garbage. It's not provided sanctity. It's not provided progress for the black family or for black children. Since it doesn't care about black men, it has not provided anything of veritable life cycle or systems for black life. So therefore, herein lies the problem.
but
We
you know
gotta
what
stop
though?
this, man. We gotta
okay,
stop it, man.
Christopher, listen, I'm gonna tell you like this. It's like he's a very good fighter. For you notice he doesn't fight for you know solutions.
Well, see, the first thing is that we have to stop being anti everybody else, because that seems to be the argument that Black has.
Well, this
And
economist, he's very high on the divide, and that's what I like. Because me and him we've had similar debates like this. Because I've had a big debate with him back in the day, and he's very big on that. Where like I told him, I said I hate to say something, the racism, the sexism, the religion, all that shit. I hate to say, I really don't think it has nothing to do with that. It's just the haves and the have-not. And a
Yep.
lot of motherfuckers
You know
who
what? I like the guy to the point of every time I ask him a question, he shuts the fuck up. He has to come up with an argument because you know why? I don't sit here and run around the bush with a. I give you a closed-ended question. I don't believe in that open-ended shit. We're gonna have a debate. Let's just go ahead and get it over with. So whenever he comes back, I'd love to talk to you again.
Oh, I mean, he's like plain and simple. I'm gonna let you know. This is his about. Literally, like I had a show, and that just like literally, like him talking about this subject here is like Tommy talking about black women. I mean,
This is Super
literally,
Bowl.
that's how. No, right. This is his. I mean, like
No,
literally.
I disagree because Tommy isn't talking about all black women.
Good.
He's using the all terminology.
Yeah,
Good insight, Tony.
No, but I'm like this.
Whoa.
This is a show, but that just goes
What you
to
wearing, girl?
listen. He has a different, different opinion.
Stop that shit.
And one of the things that I like about him, I mean, he ruffles a lot of feathers. A lot of people, you know, especially with his
Ruffles feathers.
KKK ruffled feathers
The
too.
motherfucker like to use excuses for bullshit.
Oh yeah,
It's great. Have you ever seen me? I've been on these shows a lot with you. We've spoken for many hours, right?
Oh, what's up, Josh?
Hey, what's going on, Patrick? If I ever called someone a coconut drinking, barefoot, machete wielding motherfucker,
Yeah, for
or
real.
anything like that, anything even in that
That's
general
bullshit.
vicinity of that.
right.
I'm just saying I would have booted his
That's
ass if I
fucking-
was in the shower or the radio. I'm trying to listen.
But Josh, he doesn't understand. That doesn't hurt me. Like I told you that Jamaica is a piece of shit. So I'm not using Jamaica as this
just saying, you
exemplary
can't-
of greatness.
You can't be like, oh, well, he had some good points, except for that, one part where he called everybody on the panel a motherfucker. He said Tony's not allowed to speak because she's
I'm sorry, I'm
white.
not intelligent.
Eric's an asshole because he's old and he didn't save the whole fucking world. KP's gay.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yes,
You know
Eric,
what?
you should have went around with your M14 and
Channel.
That's true. He did that.
You know when he talks when Black talks the way he talks, it just tells us of the reality of the destruction of
Black
family.
We
Family.
daddies around here.
Oh, and Lord knows I'm not allowed to say shit because I was
Hey,
born evil.
Josh, I'm gonna
I
say
was
this
born
to you.
evil. There's nothing I could say about anything. I was born evil, which is funny because we're having a show about racism, but I was born evil because I have white skin.
I'm gonna say this to Josh,
Fucking
Tony,
crazy.
and Samissa.
You're fucking crazy. Even for
You
letting them
three
talk, every
motherfuckers-
single one of you are crazy.
Josh, hey, look, you, Tony, and Samissa, shut the fuck up, you white devils.
Fuck out of here.
He made
listen,
Wesley Snipes the leader of all black people.
No, I'm just letting you know like this. Remember, like I said, if there was ever the reason, yeah, as you said, my reasons were, I want people to see that, like I said, is we got very extreme black people that fight their shit to the extreme and
That's
way
good.
far.
That's good.
Nah, Andre, I'm disagreeing
That's
with you
what
on
the
that
thing
one.
is. Huh?
Andre, I'm disagreeing with you on that one.
You
It's
don't
not
think
extreme.
so?
Andre,
It's not
it's not
extreme.
extreme.
He's
Let
not
me explain.
extreme.
Let me explain. It's not extreme. What I see is a very insecure human entity. Insecure about its essence, fear that he's just living in existentialism, insecure about his being as a man or a black man or a mixed mestizo, whatever he wants to call himself, and insecure about a person or about persons that can hold separate ideals than his own. That's the trinity of insecurity that I just observed.
No. You saw me type it in the
Patrick.
chat. No racial discussions for the next week at least, please, guys. I don't need
Yeah.
any more. I mean, literally, I don't. If I hate to say something, to me, I understand racism exists and all that shit, but I hate to say something in other forms of fashion. But no, please can't do no more. We got our race thing.
I don't
You
know.
know,
Matter of fact,
25
our
hours,
race thing to the
guys.
into next month. Okay.
you know how you defeat racism by
Huh?
ignoring it. You know how you
I
defeat
can't hear you
racism,
breaking
or it
up.
doesn't make it bother you personally. Oh, my phone. I said,
You don't give
do
it
you
your
know?
energy.
Do you know how you defeat? Yeah, Patrick, you ignore it because I'm telling him the reason why I was asking him, come live over here in Sweden for the 9 years like me. Come be as educated as you claim you are and see real structural hindrance. I don't even say racism. You're not gonna. It's white people's system. He said it himself. He said it's a game. Why the hell should I invent a game and then give you an advantage? Blacks had to. If we're using an analogy, blacks played basketball. They didn't invent it. They saw that they could jump higher, that they were much more swifter than the average white player, and they took that and they took the game. Stop making excuses. Stop pointing out because you're not gonna. This is what he doesn't understand. He doesn't understand the art of diplomacy. If you want people to be on your side, you can't rattle them. You can't make them feel angry. What you're doing when you're pointing your fingers at white people, wheel them to death. Bring them in. Give them coffee. Rub their feet.
Chris,
Learn their
stop.
system.
Tony, rubbing them
You're
feet.
teaching diplomacy and politics.
Suck
Chris,
their
you're not allowed to
toes if you
talk.
have to.
You are not allowed to talk on these issues, Chris, with those skinny ass jeans.
Suck their toes if you have to, Josh.
God,
Between the first and the second toe, okay?
y'all crazy.
No, I'm
Total
just saying,
lube.
it's like
Just lube it up.
what he's doing or what we have done, and you've seen it with this Black Lives Matter as you deconstruct the whole grievances. Black people are locked into these abyss of hate. We've lived in these little enclaves of hate.
But you know
All right,
what though?
let's go.
You know
We
what
have
I,
no last thoughts here.
but you know what I've noticed though? Listen, panel. When we talk about all the different uh nationalities of people, okay, who have come to America to live the so-called American dream, okay, and they do well. How do they do well? Okay, first of all, I think they live by the ideology that it takes a village because that's how they work. Okay, they work with families working together, not apart from each other. They're not they're not individualists. Okay, they are groups of people. Within those groups of people, there are families. Within those families, there are parents that teach their children how to grow up. They teach their children a work ethic. Okay? You understand what I'm saying? They give them a standard for living that's intangible. Okay? Based on necessities they need to live a productive life. Okay? If you don't have that family structure, okay, you will always be among the have nots because you have no strength. And if you look throughout, and if you look as a microcosm to the world, if you look throughout the United States, those people who have come over here for the people who have come to the States for centuries, since its inception, they've always had families, have they not?
Correct.
It's a common entity to everything.
Except for the Asians and the Chinese when they first came into America. They were only allowed Chinese men, but after the family
For
came
the
around,
railroads.
That's
they
what I'm
filled in.
saying. If you think about in the U.S. right now, okay, what's one of the biggest issues with immigration is family unification. Yes,
Hmm.
family unification. Because when you have family unification, you have more strength in numbers. Why? Because everybody's doing something
Something to
to build
contribute.
up to build up the family. okay? So they can work this system to their advantage. And
I
so far, there have
okay.
been many
Let's
different
wrap
groups of
let's
people who
wrap
come into
up.
the states who have managed to do that. Okay, you had okay if you want to call so-called the so-called if you want to use the so-called ghetto analogy. Okay, for example, in the ghettos of Germany in the 30s and 40s. Okay, you had the so-called Jewish ghettos. Well, in the States, you had Chinatown, you had Little Italy, da 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 da, and you also had the Jewish communities. Okay, all those communities of people had groups of families working together. Okay, to keep themselves going, to keep their groups going. Okay,
Okay, so Eric,
and
got a
they
quick
still
question
do it
for you.
right now.
In your final thoughts, how would you try to end poverty in a brief moment?
All right, how do you how to end poverty? I I I I say it again. It takes a village mentality.
Can I say something in that regards,
Because
KP?
individualism is not going
One
to do it.
second. How about Tony? What do you have to end poverty?
Tony, tell us. She's AFK. Oh.
She's muted.
All right, Josh, what do you have? How can we end poverty?
In poverty. Like I said, you have to have the liberation of women, and you have to have education. And if you're gonna attack poverty, you're gonna fail every time if you're just talking about black poverty, because it's just a
Mm,
numbers game. It's
mm,
the sad state of the world is there's not enough of you for people to give a shit about. So when people start talking about black poverty, you've just given 87% of the country an out to completely ignore you, because it's no longer their problem. It's a black problem. You see what I'm saying?
mm-hmm.
All right, and Chris, what do you have to say?
The race to the bottom. How do we prevent or stop or slow the race to the bottom? I go back to this. There's this Indian economist. His name is Amartya Sen, and he
Yeah, I
talks
know you're
about
talking
he
about.
talks about human capabilities. How we end poverty as a black group collectively. Let's work on our capabilities. Let's work on the guy who wants to be a plumber. Let's work on the guy who wants to be a clown. Let's up those capabilities, and then take maybe a longitudinal approach and see how far that takes us and where we need to fine tune. It has to start from the basics. Like when you go to the toilet, you may know you have to wipe your ass. Let's develop our capabilities. That's how you end poverty.
All right, and that final note, Dre.
Well, he's in poverty. Oh man. Main thing is, I think I've been up too long. I said it been. Main thing is we have to definitely start getting up off our ass. We have to come together as a family unit. More people definitely need to, you know, if you do have a child with someone, and say even if you make a mistake and find out that this is not the person you want to spend, that you're not the best person, y'all need to come to find some type of solution for both parents to be active participants in the child's life, because like I said, he's a product of his environment. We all are a product of our environment and in our upbringing, and sometimes we'll find a reason to blame others for things that they had nothing to do with, or things that you can't control. But and that's just human nature. We always want to blame somebody. We don't never really want to take responsibility. And then sometimes too, we do take responsibility, but the system is set up to prevent you from doing anything after you've made a mistake. I mean, I'm a perfect example of that. I know that, you know, and I will admit, it's hard for a person to know, say, like, after you've made a mistake and you know that your life is virtually screwed for the rest of your life, it's hard to just get up and still be a positive person in the community, or to not just fall into it and be worse. I mean, it's very difficult.
So with that, you want to wrap it up? And
Oh no, we can do a little bit. V-Dub just came in here. Now V-Dub knows about Chris. Go ahead and let V-Dub get time in before we close off.
oh yes, okay, that's
Where's the background noise coming from?
Mad
It's
Black.
black.
Shit.
That's
Okay.
driving.
This is just
Okay.
driving.
Go ahead. Go ahead, V-Dub.
Thank you, Jay, for letting me hop on real quick. Eric said something about his generation earlier while he was sitting down. He said, if they came in and they dropped the guns and the drugs, it was our fault for selling it. So when Chris said that we should be mad at that generation for doing what they did, y'all don't think that was a valid point? You don't think he had the right to blame that generation for picking up the guns and the drugs and selling and distributing them and creating a different kind of environment for our neighborhood at that point? You don't think he had a valid argument with blaming, since you guys say he was blaming and being a victim? You don't think that was a valid argument at that point?
Valid, but you still, like I said, that still goes down to choice when we always say. But I like I said, it's too like that could go both ways with choice because it's a double-edged sword. Sometimes you have choices, but they're just not very good choices.
But what he's saying is that wasn't his choice. It wasn't my choice to make. It wasn't my brother's choices to make. It was either our fathers or our grandfathers' choices back in the 70s to make those choices that led us to the conditions now to where you'll find Chris having to fight for the right to just explain how he feels about oppression inside his community.
How can anybody with a fucking brain keep listening to a guy that keeps saying that everything is everybody else's fault and never looks in a fucking mirror? Give me a goddamn break. I've been listening to this shit for 2 hours. This dude, not one time would he consider that maybe his own plight, his own business. What is wrong with black people? What the fuck,
now,
man?
I understand where you coming from, and I understand your argument. But while you're listening for 2 hours, did you consider what I just brought up as an argument of something that he just said?
His argument was not valid. I'm gonna be the one to say it was not valid.
That's a not valid statement or argument. That's what you're saying.
It
about
was
the
not
younger
valid.
brother who addressed the older brother who said
It
that
was
his
not
generation picked up the guns and the drugs and they sold
It was
so
not
that's
valid, because then all you're doing is blaming.
So now when he says that,
all you're doing is blaming the previous generation. That's all you're doing.
Okay, so when you guys said what kind of solution should you provide, and he said that I'm trying to shop black, I'm trying to provide group economics, because that's not a valid argument.
When did this ever turn into the pro-black show?
It's not a pro-black show.
Shit.
I'm talking.
Y'all
and I don't
lay down for this
represent.
nigga shit, man.
Excuse me, sir. I'm talking, and I don't represent the panel up here right now at all. I'm talking on behalf of me. You understand?
Well, hurry it up.
Are you rushing?
Relax.
You know what? Enjoy your night. Enjoy your night, Black. I understand you have a little bit of aggression. Maybe you've been driving too long. Great conversation, Dre. Enjoy.
You know what? I'm tired of these goddamn faggots coming on here making characterizations about me. I had enough of it. Okay? Andre, you play the nice guy shit all you want, but I'm not playing it with you, okay? Fuck that. I'm tired of people insulting me and then jumping off. So all you pro-black faggots go suck a dick. Alright, man, I'm sorry, man, because Andre, you let that motherfucking dude come on and run his fucking dick sucker just to get views, man. Fuck him. I'm sorry, I'm going to keep it innocent. I'm going to tell you the truth. The only reason you let him break your rules and run his mouth and insult people is for views. And it's bullshit.
Now, you can think that if you want, Matt, but I'm going to tell you like this. Haven't you had nights where you've been
I ain't letting anybody come on and insult my whole panel just to get views. Not one time. He spent the whole night calling KP stupid.
Man, man. Listen, you might think that, but I'm gonna tell you like this. Maybe because I know him better than you. That was actually him on a very good night, and I'm not trying to.
Oh, you made excuses for that lame nigga.
Andre, can I say something?
Yes, he did. Like I said, I'm not taking no. But this was the thing. The goal was that is this. I know Chris is not going to frequent the show. We already know that because he never frequent any shows. But the fact is to show that there are people out there with those type of views, and that opens up. This is what no. See, this is one of the things you don't understand. Just because I don't like a person or I don't agree with a person's point of view doesn't mean that they're not going to have their night.
Andre, you are totally missing my point. As usual, you are missing my point. Everything you said, I agree with. But here is the point I'm trying to make. When everything that came out of his mouth, that's usually when the old Andre would have kicked anybody off the panel. When you was on the fucking You Dig, you did not let people go that long insulting other people. He would have been gone 2 hours ago. But because of the shit he was saying and who the fuck he was, you let him stay on.
No. Because, and I'm going to just tell you like this is, man. Because, why? I let him go on. You know why? Because I wanted to. The good thing is, I hate to say, it's my show. I want.
Well, I'm going to remember those words. I'm going to remember them words.
No, but this is the thing, though. Matt, like I told you, sometimes people are going to be, they're not going to agree with our type of thing.
Andre, it's not about agreeing or disagreeing. I'm going to take the point you just made. You said you left him on there to show us that those kind of people exist. Guess what? Newsflash, we already know they exist. That same nigga sent an hour and 43-minute video straight to my page calling me a piece of shit and a coon. I already knew he existed. He sent me that shit earlier. Fucking give you the link and send it to you if you want to see it. I already knew that Chris existed.
Okay.
All I'm saying is he proved his existence in the last show, so you gonna let him come on another show and keep proving his existence by calling everybody stupid?
Well,
my point was, if you reached the point, Andre, where it went beyond showing us that he exists, and it went straight to let him insult everybody all night. That's what he did. That's all he did.
Okay, here's the question. Plain and simple. You might say, yeah, I will admit, he threw out a lot of insults, but I hate to say, that's just how he is. I mean,
he didn't make a single good point.
Wait a minute, Matt. He's not going to be a regular, so you don't have to worry.
Oh, I don't care if you wait. It's like you said, it's your show. I'm just simply saying, Andre, there ain't been a single fucking person pushing your shit harder than me. Go look at all my videos. At the end of all of them, I say, y'all niggas go and sub to Andre. Ain't nobody been pushing your shit harder than me. But the fact is, when you let suckers like this come on and degrade and debase everybody, and you don't fucking stop them, it looks like you doing it just to get views, bro. I'm being honest with you. I don't lie to anybody. You don't even let me go on like that, Andre.
But man, plain and simple, this is the difference. Remember, like I said, it's a show for the people, composed of the people, and by the people.
Yeah, but it's not a show to let people insult folks all night.
Listen, plain and simple. If you have to notice, I had all the other people had come in the chat room. Anybody could have booted it.
I'm going to get on your next show. I'm going to come in, and I'm just going to start calling people names like crazy. I guarantee you I won't get 3 hours of it before you block my ass. It's bullshit. It's not even-handed, Andre. It's not.
Okay, man, I'm going to tell you like this is. For an example, if you want to sit here and you say, you didn't get 3 hours of bad people, but you also did a couple things on a couple shows there, and you see you're still around.
I didn't do it for 3 hours straight.
I mean, but I'm pretty sure if you added up all that time, you probably just got just as much.
But I didn't do it for 3 hours straight on one show. He literally spent 2 straight hours calling KP stupid. 2 straight hours of it.
Okay.
Calling that man stupid.
Well, listen, I'm going to tell you like this. KP had control in the room if he wanted them out there.
Well, I know the narrative. Mad Black is out of control. I'm going to show you.
Oh, my God. Man, don't play the... Listen, now you doing the victim thing. Don't play the victim thing.
It is, because that's the one thing I'm getting sick and tired of. I'm the person that don't hold his tongue, but because everybody wants to act like a bunch of goddamn preachers and pastors, don't nobody want to say what they thinking. Every one of y'all was thinking exactly what I'm saying.
Matt,
y'all know that nigga full of shit.
No, Matt, I'm gonna tell you like this, plain and simple. You have said your words many a times, right? You still see you.
I never stood on the panel and insult everybody, not one.
Can
You
I can
had
I
the
say
thought.
something? Can I say something towards the guy who asked the question that left about the guy making a question to Eric about his generation selling the drugs?
Right. Go
That
ahead.
that's like tying a horse around a pole and you keep the horse keep going around the pole. We know that.
Right.
You can't take that back. So why do you keep bringing it up? Okay, even if you think that point is valid, it still come down to impulse.
Right.
You weren't born with a crack pipe in your mouth. You put that crack pipe. Apart from maybe the few women that got seduced or whatever, or men who got tricked, but for the most part, the general population, you placed that crack pipe in your mouth yourselves. And even after taking the crack, there's a point where there's what do you call it? Rehab. You could have went to rehab. Do you notice that crackheads don't just change on their own? It has to be a personal decision for them to stop taking the crack. For a drug addict to say, you know what, I'm going to try to get rehab. It's a personal decision as opposed to say a community or a country decision. We need to get off them excuses, man. These black Americans are some sorry ass niggas, man. All we do is just cry, 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 complain. You complain. You have people who live worse than you in third world country, and they're not blaming white people.
Jesus Christ. Bro, I understand where you're coming from and your passion, but that's not the question that I asked. Nor everything that you just said is anything that I addressed in my question. You get where I'm saying you moved in the goalpost? It was simple in what I asked. Did he have a valid argument when he said that that generation has a blame to why this generation is the way it is right now?
Yes. I
And
would
we
agree.
just said it
But
partially.
he,
Answer is, and the
but he
answer is
had
no.
already said that white people were to blame for everything before, so
Well,
he was placing
Eric,
blame on top of
this is
blame.
okay. So Eric clearly said that when they came and dropped the guns and the drugs, who was the they that Eric was talking about? And I'm asking Eric, not everybody else on the panel. Eric, who is the they?
I'm talking about the they that everybody in America talks about when they
So,
talk about the CIA drops the drugs
mm-hmm,
in the black community
mm-hmm.
to be sold to keep the black community so-called pacified and docile. And all them things there. Okay,
So now, is there
this is the
clear
day I'm talking
evidence?
about
Is
because this
there
is the
clear
day that I'm
evidence
hearing
of
about.
the CIA doing it?
Mm.
And we have the
I don't know.
evidence. We have the evidence to prove that it was somewhat of the CIA, Iran Contra, Nicaragua. Or we have the evidence of how the crack epidemic started around the 70s with the CIA, white-run organization that we can point to coming in and dropping the guns and the drugs. We have the evidence today of the Obama administration with what the fuck, whatever they call that gun program that they was running and giving the Mexican cartels drugs and guns to flow to Chicago. I have the evidence of that today. Why can't we see that that's a problem of other people influencing our community because they see it's an economic gold mine?
And why
Weed,
can't we say that?
guns,
Why can't
drugs.
we
Okay,
say
time
that
out.
You
black?
Time out.
right.
Hold on, hold
Why
on.
But
can't we
Let
but
me
say
ask
that
you the
blacks
next
are too
question.
easily influenced? Why can't
Black,
we say that black people are too easily influenced and they're too
bro,
stupid to think for themselves?
okay,
and I
V-Dub.
can
Let
say
me.
that the boy wait, I'm gonna address Mad Black real quick, brother Eric.
Okay.
I can say that us blacks are influential when you go around the world and you see people in Africa and China and Russia singing 50 Cent lyrics and wearing t-shirts and baggy pants. Well, that negative part of your community is extremely influential. Did you know that? Or do you see
But
that?
that's
Well,
white people. That's
I
white
live in a
people.
white community because I have a brain.
And the
So
white
I'm sorry.
people consume more hip hop than anybody.
As
But
court
Yeah,
gestures, yeah, we are influenced as
Right.
court
We're
gesture,
influential.
but not intellectual.
we're not the
Influential.
Not
influencers though.
intellectual. Not
We're not
But
the influencers though, as far as intellects though, and
this shit
also
is
that's
fucking
white.
hilarious. We keep blaming
We don't have the
everybody.
let's bring it back to Chris's argument. We don't have the economic influence to structure ourselves that way. We had it at one point with these historically black colleges, which are now run by whom?
okay, if they run, okay, V-Dub. If you're making the point that these historical black colleges and universities are now influenced and run by white folks, why? Why? They were
Well,
intellectuals
that goes
in
back to
those
Mad
colleges,
Black's
running those colleges,
atheist's
right?
point. We're easily influenced, but we're greatly influential. So that's a
You
problem
know,
right
Ken,
there.
I'll make the
As
point
much
that we keep using the.
as much as we're consuming, we're also giving it off. There's some
Have
kind
you
of
noticed that
balance.
all night everybody has been saying this phrase? It goes back to. It goes back to. It goes back to. None of you niggas ever say the word forward for some reason. Always it goes back to.
But
Maybe
you're
that's the
asking
problem.
why.
You keep
You're
thinking
asking
going back
why.
to shit.
You're
Look, there ain't
asking
nothing
why.
that you said. There's nothing that you
You're
said that has a
asking why.
goddamn thing to do with 2016. Not
You're
a damn
asking
thing.
why.
Iran, Contra, the CIA, none of that shit matters. What the fuck are you doing as a black man today to fucking better yourself? Blaming it on the white man ain't gonna change a goddamn thing.
All right.
God
But
damn
no,
it,
no,
I'm
no.
man, this shit.
I'm not
Can I
blaming nothing
can I
on
say
any
so-
white man
can
because
I
don't
say
no
can I
white
Some of
people
these niggas I
control
ever
can I
heard in
me.
say
my
something?
life.
Can I
Don't
say
no white
something?
people
Black,
control
black.
me,
Wait
black
a minute, guys.
atheists.
Look,
You're
look,
out of
look.
control, my man.
Can
Chill.
I say something, Andre?
Let,
Can,
Of
like
course,
I said,
but
uh,
the nigga that spent 3 hours
Nigga.
talking shit to y'all wasn't out of control, but I am. Y'all
can I
retarded, man.
No,
can I
I'm
say
telling
something?
you, not the
Can I
people.
say
I'm
something,
telling you.
Andre?
plain and
Can I
simple.
say
Fuck
something?
y'all.
He's
Can I
not
say
even.
something? Can I say something, please, Andre? And
All right, 'cause
this argument
I'm about to shut down in a minute. All right, so go ahead and say this, that way I can
that
shut.
we say that blacks don't have the economic power or money or resources. That's actually not correct because you have black players or black Americans who individually or sometimes collectively have more gross national product than actual countries or black countries. So we have the money. The second point that I find very disturbing is that we want to praise that white people supposedly listen to niggers that influence them, 50 cents. How about having white people um, influence white people intellectually?
I said the world.
Why do we want to praise being court gestures? Why do we why who give a fuck about 50 cents? 50 cents is an idiot.
All right, so what about Sizzler? Because you know Sizzler's praised globally too, from Japan to China to Russia to Turkey to
Yeah, and
Africa to
Sizzler
Europe, and so with Sizzler.
Sizzler buy weapons and
Yeah, so
disperse it
what
in those
man shouldn't
same
protect
ghettos.
himself and his family?
In those same ghettos
Yeah, he
at
come from
Jamaica.
oppression. He come from
Sizzler
oppression.
buy illegal weapons and disperse them in Jamaica. That's a fact.
So where was black people supposed to get a defense from? We just need economics to buy an army, right? We need
They're
economics
not
to protect
fighting. They're not
ourselves.
fighting white people with those guns. They're killing like Jamaica's crime rate. They're killing themselves with those
So
guns. They're not
same
killing white
thing.
people.
So you know you did come on here and praise Jamaica over Black Americans earlier. So what's the difference between a
No, we
Jamaican
didn't
and
praise.
no,
We give. Listen,
you.
listen.
I didn't say we. I said you,
Listen.
brethren, brethren, brethren.
Listen.
Not we. You.
I highlight when there's a good, like I said, work ethics. Jamaicans had 2 jobs.
And I
Fuck
highlight when there's a good.
Jamaica. I don't give a fuck about
That's
Jamaica.
your
So don't come
problem.
put words in me trying to tell me because Jamaica's a piece of shit.
I not
It's a
put
piece of
words
shit.
upon your mouth. You said it live
It's a
on the
piece of
camera,
shit.
brethren. You said it.
Guys,
You said it
guys,
live on the camera.
guys.
I didn't say no live on the car. Don't come put words in my mouth.
Wait till you watch the
I gave an
replay.
instant
You wait
of
till you
where
watch the replay.
I said work ethics.
replay
Nigga, you
come.
trying to come on here trying to
Chris,
prove something to me.
Beat
I
up.
give a shit.
Wait a minute, guys. Look, guys. I am tired. Look, we too much fighting, man. Like this is, dog. I will admit these are very difficult topics to talk about. Like this. Like I said, guys, I want to thank you guys for coming out to the show. Please like, share, and subscribe. Please hit the donate button. I definitely need a donation tonight after all this stress here. And we'll see you guys on the flip side. Say bye, everybody.
All right, right on.
All right.
Goodbye.